Welcome, everybody. We're going to start. The meeting's going to commence. Welcome to the City of Palatka City Commission meeting. We are May 14th, 2026, and it's 6 p.m. I'm calling the meeting to order, starting with invocation led by Pastor Mulberry, Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Campbell. Please stand if you're able.
Let's pray. Father, again, thank you for allowing us to come together once again to take care of your business. Pray, God, that you will bless the leadership that you provided and for all that is here, the constituents, everyone that has a part. We pray that your will be done, your kingdom come, and glory would be revealed. We thank you for all that you do for us and what you're going to do. Continue to bless us, Lord. Your hand is upon us. Keep us mindful of who you are. It is in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Join me in saluting our nation's flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Commissioner Barham is in conference and will not make it tonight. Commissioner Jones.
Present.
Commissioner Campbell.
Present.
Commissioner Davis.
Present.
Mayor Carrillo.
Present, we have quorum. Thank you. Has everybody had an opportunity to read the minutes from the April 2026 workshop, commission meeting minutes from April 23rd, 2026, annual report April 29th, 2026, and the second budget workshop April 29, 2026?
Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. On to public recognitions, presentations. Firefighter State Award, Ben Stevens, presented by Commander Donnelly. Come on up, Commander Donnelly, please.
Good evening.
Is the mic
I
on?
want to thank you for you putting us in this evening. I know I did it on a last-minute deal. So again, I want to thank Karen for doing it. Thank you very much. Tonight, we have two of our state representatives with us. In their busy schedule, they came down to do the presentation of the award. Mike Klein, who is the state surgeon for the Veterans of Foreign War, and Chester Lundy, who is the District 14 commander of District 14 for the state of Florida for the Veterans of Foreign War. Mike Klein will do the presentation because it's a state award tonight, and Mike being a state officer, I think it's appropriate that he does that. I'll say something after he's done,
Okay.
and we do the presentation. Thank you again for letting us do this tonight here. Mike?
Thank you all for allowing me to be here. When they called to ask me to present this award, it would be an honor for me to do this due to the fact that I do have a background in emergency medicine, so I know what these guys do day in, day out. Before I get into this, though, I'd like to recognize not just the fire service, the rescue service, but your police and sheriff's office. As a veteran, when I go someplace, I knew pretty much who the enemy is. Years ago, things went on. Today, your law enforcement, your EMS, they don't know what the enemy is. So again, it's an honor to be here in front of each and every one of you for this. So, with that being said, where's the recipient? Oh.
Oh, thought it was all said. I'm the District 14 commander, and this is my second year at District 14, and this is the second year that Post 3349 has taken this award. So thanks for supporting the VFW, the post here in Palatka, and for actually looking at your firefighters, your police officers, your sheriff's officers, and submitting those guys for doing outstanding jobs, and ladies. So with that being said, let's get the award handed out.
Let me just make a disclaimer, Chester was a Marine, so we... Congratulations. Again, this is a national award. It comes to the state. This comes to the Commander-in-Chief. Yeah, what's it? Carol Whitmore. National Firefighter Award, awarded to firefighter Ben Stevens in recognition and sincere appreciation of his dedication and selfless service to the Palatka Fire Department. During firefighter Ben Stevens' outstanding career, he has maintained a record of highly professional and exemplary service in community and nation. His extraordinary commitment clearly illustrates the proud core values and traditions of the firefighter profession, further highlighted by the degree of the admiration and respect of both his peers and the local public he serves. Firefighter Ben Stevens is truly an exceptional example to all firefighters, and his honor reflects the proud ideas and high standards of the veterans of foreign wars in the United States. In witness thereof this day, Carol J. Whitmore, Commander-in-Chief, attest by Dan West, Adjutant General.
Okay, so I'm going to present it with the plaque, and the plaque reads, Department of Florida, Veterans of Foreign Wars present to firefighter Ben Stevens, Firefighter of the Year, 25-26.
I tell you what, I used to look as good as you, but then I was in the old school, the strikers, treasures, or Fort Washington. So again, congratulations, and I look forward to seeing you a couple more times in the future. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Oh,
Ben,
Thank you, sir.
you want to say anything?
you'll set it on.
Come on, guys, if you want to get in it. I'm going to do one with them first and then one with the crew. Okay? Everybody look this way. Don't move when I say, okay, stay right there. Coming in. All right, crew. Robbie, you gotta stand on the chair.
Oops, somebody's getting lost. For some people, oops.
No, I can see them. They're hiding. One. Got it. Got it?
Ah, good, Sarah.
You want to say it?
Just quickly, I'd like to thank the VFW for recognizing our firefighters every year and appreciate the commission for allowing this in the meeting. Thank you.
I want to reinitiate what Mike said about, I do want to thank all the first responders of the Putnam County and the city of Palatka. They do an outstanding job every day, and they keep our community safe, and that's an important part of that. Again, I want to thank the city for letting us do this tonight, and it was a great honor. The second thing I want to ask tonight, we have the parade coming up for Memorial Day on the 25th at 10 o'clock. Everything's in order. The city of Palatka commissioners and so forth are invited to be in the parade, which I hope they do. We have quite a lineup going. I think I'm trying to get the 993rd to lead us to be there. And I have a 92-year-old veteran of foreign war. He's a Korean veteran. He's 92 years old, and he's going to be our Grand Marshal this year. So again, thank you all for letting us do this.
I think second. Public Works presentation of basket from the Women's Club. Ms. Van Renberg.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So excited to join you today. My name is Elizabeth Van Rensburg. I'm with the GFWC Palatka Women's Club. I'm joined by many ladies and gentlemen more important than me. My president, Aaron Hughes, our president-elect, Vicki Smith, our auditor, Tim Jefferson, and also members that have contributed wholeheartedly to, Kay Hope, our secretary, who have contributed wholeheartedly to what we're here to present tonight. So we have a department within our women's club that is called Civic Awareness and Outreach. And to me, what that means is our city's first responders, because after all, we are the Palatka Women's Club. So you might recall last year, we created quite a sizable donation to the Palatka Fire Department to buy them protective hoods. We moved on to the Palatka Police Department, where we adopted a cop for Christmas, and that was just a ton of fun. So coming into 2020, y'all are giggling, but it was amazing, and we got the canines. But coming into 2026, we were kind of like unsung first responder heroes, and we hit upon our City of Palatka Public Works Department employees. So beginning back in January, we began to create a blessing basket full of gift certificates and gift cards that were local. So they came from all over the community, but they also supported our community. And I am pleased to say that as a result, May being Public Works Awareness and Appreciation Month, we have a basket with us with 175 gift cards and gift certificates totaling almost $4,000 that was truly a community program, because we had 63 partners and businesses and individuals in the city of Palatka and beyond. So that is why we're here tonight, and we're so excited, and we wish we could be flies on the wall when the Public Works employees go through and they're like, oh my gosh, I want this and I want that, and you can have that and I'll take that. But anyway, here it is. And I put up in front, Mayor Correa, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your donation, but this truly encompasses a great deal in our community. And I'd love if my club members could join us to present this.
Everybody come on up. Come on up, Public Works folks. Since they all dress so naturally for this event. Naturally for this event. Hi, Tim. This is going to take some real photo bombing to get through this. Oh, yeah. I was trying to photo bomb. Come over in the middle, y'all. Oh. I think she's a size much shorter than the rest of Ooh, there you go.
All right, everyone look this way. Ready? Good. All right, good, thank you.
Mayor, may I have a comment?
Yes.
Ms. Van Rensburg,
Wait, 1 minute, please. Quiet, please.
Ms. Van Rensburg, before you leave, I'd just like to offer some comments. Ms. Van Rensburg contacted me in January to identify some community partners. I gave her a couple of names, but I really didn't do as much as I thought I would. But I just want to say this was such a passion of hers to identify other first responders that we typically don't think of, and that's our Public Works Department. And I want you to know, before this was an official project, she had already secured gift certificates already. So that just speaks to the passion in her heart, and I just want to say thank you very much.
Oh, well, you are more than welcome. And the joke at the Women's Club is just do what she says, or at midnight she'll be standing above your bed looking at you. It's easier to just do what she says.
And
but-
now I understand why they say
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
Yeah.
It was a lot of
But
fun, but it
thank
was
you.
also a village.
And thank you to the Women's Club. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On to proclamation for Historic Preservation Month. Too high. Whereas the National Trust for Historic Preservation raises awareness for historic preservation during the month of May, whereas historic preservation is an effective tool for managing growth and sustainable development, revitalizing neighborhoods, fostering local pride, and maintaining community character while enhancing livability, and whereas historic preservation is relevant for communities across the nation, both urban and rural, and for Americans of all ages, all walks of life, and all ethnic backgrounds. And whereas the historic buildings, churches, and homes of the city of Palatka help make our city unique and provide links with aspirations and attainment of the city's pioneers. Whereas the buildings constructed in the 19th and 20th century contribute to an appreciation of our heritage. Whereas it is important to celebrate the role of history in our lives and the contributions made by dedicated individuals in helping to preserve the tangible aspects of the heritage that has shaped us as a people. Now therefore I, Roberta Correa, Mayor of the City of Palatka, Florida, together with the members of the Palatka City Commission, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2026 as Historic Preservation Month in the City of Palatka, and urge everyone in our community to participate in historic preservation efforts. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. We have a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Thank you. Is there, come on, come on.
I would, yes, please. Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners. My name is Chris Ronzeval, and I serve as the Secretary of the Putnam County Historical Society. So I'm here to accept this on behalf of the Historical Society and Nicole Grace, who could not be here tonight. But we would all like to thank you. The City of Palatka's continued commitment to historic preservation throughout our community. We deeply appreciate the attention given to recognizing and preserving history in all areas of the city, reflecting a strong respect for our shared heritage. We also respectfully acknowledge and value the consideration of offering this proclamation and the importance it holds in honoring and preserving our collective history for future generations. Thank you.
Everybody look this way? Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. On to City Manager and Administrative Reports, Public Works Update, Mr. Verrecchio.
Good evening, Mayor, Commissioners, how are you tonight?
Good, thank you.
Let me start by saying this update's about the Public Works Building. As we all know, this has been in the works for a number of years, and we're finally coming down the home stretch. We're at the point where next week is substantial completion on the project. We still have some bugs to work out, but nothing major, so no real problems. The contractor, Thomas May, who did the job, did an amazing job. Pissarro also did an amazing job as far as assisting us, fighting for us when we needed somebody in our corner. Very pleased with them as well. So I'll start with the first one. That's the front of the building and the entrance. And if you'll notice, the City of Palatka Public Works, that is the approved logo for the city using our stuff. And that is going to be hung on the side of that building. You'll see the 3 windows there. It'll be right above that. It's a rather large sign. It's in the works. We're going to have it made here shortly. So if we can move on to the next slide, please. Okay, so I did a lot of comparisons from where we came from to where we are now. I know you guys like comparisons and things of that nature. So if you look on the left, that's the new shower area for our men. To the right is the old shower area. There's quite a difference. People are very excited about this. Next slide, please. Okay, to the left is the new break room. To the right is the old break room. As you can just see, the waxed floors and the amount of room in there. It's definitely a place for the men to relax. And if you look at those 2 doors to the left on the new break room side, that's the locker room right behind there. So they'll have a private locker room now to where in the past they haven't. So that's pretty cool. Next slide, please. Just to give you an idea of the size, the totality of the project, what we did. So we're coming out of a 1,460 square foot building with no rear exit, no ADA accessible. It is what it was. But the new building is 5,000 square feet, and it's going to accommodate everybody. We typically had our meetings, when we had our sanitation meetings and so on, so we'd have them outside, standing. So now we have a big enough conference room where we can handle meetings with our whole crew. We're 65 strong, so sometimes when we have full meetings, it gets quite busy. So now we can actually have them inside. Next one, please. Again, there's the old bathroom to the new bathroom. The bathroom is pretty amazing. I know I got a bunch of pictures of the bathroom in there, apparently I didn't realize, but it's a great bathroom, I'm just going to say. So we're looking forward. No, we left the pink commode. We thought about it, though, hard and long. So next slide, please. Okay, and this one has so much to it. If you look to the right, that's how we stored material for our water and sewer department. As you can see, the problems with that some of that material's been out there for 20 years. You lose track, and to the left is our new system with our forklift there, so everything's organized now. We know what we have. The goal is to make sure we're saving as much money as we possibly can for the city and for the taxpayers, and we're utilizing what we have. So it's quite a big difference from what we've been accustomed to. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is big. If you look on the right-hand side first, you'll see the old system of how our guys would get up and change a tire. If you look at that bottle jack they're putting underneath there, understand that truck weighs about 45,000 pounds loaded. So you're getting up into 22 tons. To the left-hand side is the new automated lift system. That truck that is lifted currently was full. It weighs about 55,000 pounds. And the safety is unmatched and unparalleled. The guys can walk underneath. They all work in unison. They go under the tires, they lift the truck. It's a really big thing. This is something that need to be. If you guys remember from the last presentation a while back, the guys were working on dirt, lying on the floor in the dirt outside. So this is a big difference for us. We're very, very proud of that. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is the fleet area. Currently, the way it is, if you look at the floor, it's kind of shiny, it kind of looks a little dirty, but it's not. That floor has been 4 times covered in a epoxy acrylic, so everything's sealed. So if we spill hydraulic fluid, gas, fuel, no problems. It's going to last a lifetime, that floor. Another great part about it is we were trying to come up with a flow, something safer where the guys aren't backing in and out of a 12-foot door. So here, you can bring in, and we can work on literally 4 trucks, garbage trucks, indoors at one time in this space. And they pull into the front and they pull out the back. There's corresponding doors on each side. So that the safety, the amount of work that we can get done indoors in a good, safe condition it's unparalleled. We're definitely brought us into the next century and state-of-the-art area for these guys to work on these trucks. We're very proud of that. So next one, please. Okay, so just as running through just some photos of the new area. To the left is a computer lab for all our employees. So we have a lot of times where the employees need to come in, line in, get on ADG, ADP, and do some work. And we've never really had any specific area for them. Now, if you look to the left, we're going to have 4 computers set up in there so we can bring them in and keep our employees easily informed. And on the right-hand side is the staff break room. Next one, please. Lay-down yard is on the left-hand side. It's a key component of everything we have. Flow, flow, flow. Things flow. We want trucks flowing in, trucks flowing out. We are still short, a couple things need to be done out there that we're going to get finished up and will be put in front of you guys. We got a pole barn that's going to go out for bid to get the pole barn put in so we can have all of our trucks, 18 of them to be exact, undercover, not out in the sun, taking wear and tear, taking a beat and getting weathered. And the sun really hurts our hydraulics. So the hydraulics take a beat, and so it's an important move. On the right-hand side, that's the entry as you come in. That's the hallway. On the right-hand side is all the superintendent's offices. If you go to the next one, please. That's our new conference room. It's big enough to house a very large crew in there and have productive meetings with everybody at a point where they can sit down and be comfortable. Next one, please. And this is just a typical office. Every one of those offices they're 10 foot by 11 foot, so they're decent sized offices, but not overly sized. We managed to get an extra office in there. Everybody has a window outside. Nobody wants to work in a box with no windows, so they have fresh air. They open up. It's pretty cool, pretty amazing. Everybody's very excited about it. Next one, please. Okay, that's about it. As you can probably imagine, we're ecstatic. The simple, everybody's pride in where we're going to. I see it in the guys now. Everybody's so happy and so proud to be there. It's going to change the way we do things, and I don't even know how to say it. I just am proud of everybody, and everybody's so proud to be part of this. And thank you guys for allowing this to happen. I really appreciate it, and it's a big deal. Thank you. It's exciting. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Yes, ma'am. I will set that up with the PIO, and we'll get that taken care of. Yes, ma'am. Of course we will. Excited to have you guys come out.
Yeah. So now that's the best looking facility in the city of Palatka. You set the bar high.
County.
Oh, and county. Okay. Maybe the state. But
Maybe.
I'm glad. I know this has been a long time coming. You guys have experienced it longer than I have, so congratulations.
Thank you all from the bottom of my heart.
I'm really happy, really happy that we're to this point as well. Just seeing where we come from, where you came from, and where you are now speaks to the hard work and dedication that we have, not only for our citizens, but for our employees as well. So we're happy that you are in a place where you can be more functional, and we look forward to going higher and higher as we need to. But again, thank you for your leadership as you stepped in and made sure that this project, when you brought me out initially, I knew what the vision was just by you telling it. And so your excitement makes your employees excited. So again, thank you so much for your leadership.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you. Anybody else? Thank you.
Thanks.
Summer internship, Ms. Jones?
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, this is just to introduce and just to let our citizens know as well, if they have not seen it, the summer internship program that the City of Palatka offers every year. Thanks to Commissioner Campbell for making sure it's going to go out and on time, and we appreciate that. It will start, we currently accepting applications online. We do have a QR code created by our PIO so that they can scan it and apply that way as well. It will start, the program is actually going to run for 7 weeks, starting June 8th, 2026, and it will go through July 24th of 2026. Each department, depending on the department, they have different schedules. Some have their interns work 4 days, some work 5, so it depends on the department they're in. But we have very few departments that are not seeking an intern. So everybody is looking for an intern. At current, according to our budget, HR budget can fund 17 interns. So 17 eligible students will be qualified to participate in our summer intern program this year.
And if I can, Mayor, I want to speak to the success of the internship. First of all, we are far beyond what we initially started with the amount of students that we were able to bring into when we first initiated the internship. And the reason why I was pushing it, trying to get out, was because we had students and we had staff that were excited about getting that information because they know that City of Palatka, it normally does that. And actually, we've had in past where we've had interns actually become full-time employees of the city. So this is another testament to the dedication not only to our citizens as a whole, but more specifically to our younger constituents in the city.
We all look forward to meeting all of them and having them spend the summer here. It's always, they're so enthusiastic about being here. It's a great experience.
And it's not a watered-down experience, Mayor. They actually are
Oh, I
put
know
to
that.
work. No. I'm just saying, I want the citizens to know, it's not a watered-down process. They actually are working.
They work, but it's a great experience
Yeah.
to have young people in the city hall. It does add a vibrancy. Kicks us all.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. City manager report, acting city manager report, and I know you had dental work, and you don't really want to stay on that, Chief Shaw, but go to it.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. I'll try to keep it short, but first up, I'd like to call Assistant Chief Newcomb up to give you an update on the FPL lighting project.
Madam Mayor, Commissioners, the lighting project is actually slightly above where we were in our timeline. If you remember when we started this, they told us it'd be about a year from the time they ordered them to the time that the lights, all the different types of lights came in to the time they were installed. We're looking at a completion of about mid-June. If everything stays on track. If you have been riding around at night, you're gonna notice there are a lot of well-lit areas now. Some areas might be too lit because I have to watch my back when I walk around now. But we're dealing with the, I don't wanna call them complaints, but concerns of the lighting being too bright. We have about, I wanna say between 10 and 12 shades that have been ordered to this point. 2 or 3 have been installed. And we are working with Michelle Ussery with FPL, and she is wonderful to work with. She answers the phone, she answers the emails. She's been keeping me on track with where they're at, so everything's going very well with the project. Do you have any questions?
No, and thank you for addressing the lights that are too bright, because we've all had people call and concerns about bright lights coming into their bedroom.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, we're, as soon as I get the phone number, the name, and the address, I do it myself. I go out, I get the poll number, I notify Michelle. She notifies me that the shades have been ordered. It takes a few days to get them in. And then they have a subcontractor that goes out and is not only installing the lights, but installing the shades as well.
Thank you.
Good stuff. Thank you.
The next item I want to brief you on, I'm not sure if all of you know, but we were, with the assistance of Chief Taylor and Miss Virginia Jones, we were able to select the new HR director, and they will be starting on the 18th, starting on the 18th. So I know some of you have asked that question, inquired about the status. So I did want to let you know that we have made the selection, and it will be in place. And then the last thing, as you know, on April 29th, we had our team building exercise. And I want to allow the opportunity for Sean at the next commission meeting to go a little further in depth. But I wanted to let you know that we will be providing you with a debrief and giving you some of the highlights of that very successful team building exercise that we were very pleased with. So you can be expecting that at the next commission meeting. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. On to public comments. Is there anybody here for public comments for items not specified on the agenda? You would have 3 minutes, and you need to give your name and city or town of residence. Some of you have already submitted cards for general comments. Is there anybody else here? But I will start with Ms. Kitchens.
I live in the kitchen in Palatka, Florida. Just a couple of things to bring to your attention. I wasn't going to speak on it tonight, but since this is Historic Preservation Month, I did a walkthrough around the Bronson House last Thursday after the Historic Preservation Board meeting and found 27 pretty bad errors that the contractor has made. My comment if you see him was Stevie Wonder could have done a better job, and if you all don't know, Stevie Wonder's blind. I have documented those 27 things. I have presented them to the city staff. I will be presenting them to the Putnam County Historical Board on Saturday. I didn't give them to you individually because you all recently passed an ordinance where you don't interact with city staff anymore, basically, except through the city manager. I may be incorrect about that, but it was a city policy. But anyway, regardless, I will be glad to email those to you, but it's very important. As what happened years ago when you all hired someone to do the front porch of the Bronson House, they did the front porch. They used interior floorboards, and after the time for their liability had passed, the floor started buckling, and it was too late to go back on them. That's why we had this current problem with the floorboards. I would sincerely encourage staff and the city manager to make sure that the contract is looked at and that the contractor corrects the things that are wrong, and they are clearly documented. I'm sure there's a lot more. I just walked around the outside with a fellow that restores historic houses. He pointed out a few things, but they were very obvious. I'll just point out one. From the driveway, on the bottom step, there's a gap in the riser. From the step to the riser, it's about 2 inches, and you can see it all the way to the driveway. And there's other things that are way worse than that, but I won't go into that. The other thing I would ask, and I don't need any comment from you, of course you're welcome to comment, I would suggest that either do an emergency item or put it on the next agenda. When you all suspend the sound ordinance, would you please put some type of a restriction that it cannot be heard in San Mateo, Lundy, East Palatka, and I heard somebody heard it in Hastings. If you put a restriction that it can't be heard more than 1 block from the actual event, even though you suspend it, I think that would help protect the welfare and the health of Palatka citizens. And that's all I have tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Josh Alexander?
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is, or good afternoon. Good afternoon. It's all running together today. I was here till 8:30 last night with you guys. My name is Josh Alexander. I reside at 246 Port Comfort Drive. I am also the County Commissioner for District 3, which encompasses downtown Palatka. Through the course of discussion on Monday with staff, we determined that our sports and youth activities are growing by leaps and bounds. And to the point that it necessitates that we may need additional ball fields. And what we've done recently with the Calvary Life Center down there, while our art pool was under construction, we partnered with them. And after thinking about it for a little while, I was like, man, with the location of that pool, it gives new kids new opportunities that may have never had the opportunities to get swimming lessons. I was like, maybe we could parlay that same thing into the unused baseball fields we have. I talked to Eddie a little bit about it, and he said that there was one field at Booker that was being used part-time for soccer, and the other fields pretty much lay dormant. Before I spend too much of staff's time and effort, I wanted to engage you guys. Because I know growing up playing youth sports in Putnam County, Palatka, I played at Shaw Buck, I played at Fred Green, we practiced at Beasley Middle School, and my mom and dad, they all worked. But I went to my grandmother's house on Campbell Street after school. But I was able to walk or ride my bicycle back and forth to practice. That's really unachievable for some of these kids downtown to ride out to Babe Ruth fields. So I think the benefit would be twofold. It would allow us to continue to expand our youth programs and our tournaments, and it would also expose these children to give them the same opportunities to see baseball being played and maybe inspire them to get out and interact with everybody else, you know, because right now they don't have that opportunity. And I'm not beleaguering the city's athletic programs. I want it to be shared, and I want everybody to have the same opportunities. And I think this would allow some of those children the opportunity to participate. Some of the best athletes that I played against, they walked or rode their bicycle there because their parents were at work. You know, they could make a special arrangement to get to a game at 6 in the evening, but the practice is shortly after school. The majority of them were at work, so the kids walked, or, you know, they got away there, but they walked or rode their bicycles. So just wanted to see if that was something that the city commission might have an appetite for before I devoted any more of my staff's time to it. What I would like to propose, if you guys would be interested, is putting together a proposal of how this, I guess, would it be called an interlocal agreement or something of that nature, where we would work together? I am not wanting to take ownership of the fields or maintenance, but potentially find something that was palatable to give all of our children in this community an opportunity to participate. So
And
that's
we
where I'm
will
at.
give responses after we finish the
Sure,
public
sure.
comment period.
Okay, well, I
Thank
just
you.
wanted to bounce that off of you guys. I don't expect a response tonight, but if you want to shoot me an email or something like that, that's fine. So just let me know if you want me to, share this opportunity within the city.
Okay, and
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Alexander. Aaron Hughes.
Hi, guys. So I
Who are you?
realize.
Who are
oh,
you?
Oh, excuse me. I'm Erin Hughes, and I reside in East Palatka. So I realized last evening. Yes.
Excuse me.
Oh, Josh, don't
No,
leave.
he has to go.
Thank you.
He does have to leave. he
Oh,
told me.
sorry. You can go.
Okay, thank you. Go
All right.
ahead. Go ahead, Ms. Hughes. I'm
I
sorry.
take back my time. Thank you so much. I'm Erin Hughes from East Palatka, and all the busyness of planning next weekend. I realized last night that this is the last commission meeting before the Blue Crab Festival. So 293 days ago, I came here and advocated for the event to be returned to the community, and I am extremely elated to tell you about how I have worked with people who I've never met before, who came out of the woodwork with all different skill sets, bookkeeping, financial officers, marketing, working with our merchants downtown, all kinds of things, people that I have never done any projects before, but they had the heart, they stepped forward, and have volunteered their time. So we have gotten our ducks in a row. We've got our T-shirts that have been put out in the pre-sales. You can get them at the event. We have done all of our insurance. I've done probably 20 different walkthroughs of the riverfront for placements and power and everything else. And your special events team is just as great as I remember them. They have walked through with all of us, with PD, Public Works, Fire Department, to make sure that load-ins, roadblocks, everything is tucked away, and we've got our schedule and everything. I see you nodding because you know. So, and so thank you all to your team that has supported us in making this happen. Our first goal is for safety. Our second goal is success. And going into the weekend, I'm pretty confident about success. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Rosina Iserman?
Good evening. My name is Rosina Eisenman. I'm also known as Love My Art by Roselli. I have a shop on St. John's Avenue, and I guess I didn't know or wasn't paying attention. There's a lot of really great things that are happening downtown, which I'm very excited about, the preservation as well as the expansion. One of the things that does have me very much concerned is the lack of parking. Many years ago during Hurricane Andrew, I was part of South Florida's zoning department, so I understand requirements when it comes to businesses, parking, square footages. I recently learned that with the expansion that's coming of the St. James Hotel and the other properties in the 200 block, we are losing a lot of parking, and there's going to be an influx of how shall I say, business. I was told that the city of Palatka requires 1.1 parking spaces for every one bedroom and 1 parking space for every 3 seats in a restaurant. I thought, oh, that's great. And then I was told, oops, wait a minute, there's a subsection to that. The downtown area does not require any parking whatsoever. And that kind of gave me pause, because the St. James is going to take over the parking that's behind my building, where I and 3 other people park, have our customers park. So we're losing that. Plus, I think we're going to also lose the access to the back of our building. I could be wrong about that. I love the fact that we are beautifying and building up the town, but perhaps before we jump into reconstruction, maybe we should look at the possibility of building a parking garage, possibly at the Ameris Bank, they have a big parking lot. Possibly at the courthouse, they have a big parking lot. If you it would provide for income for the city as well. Maybe after the first hour, it's, I don't know, $1 an hour after that. First hour's free. It's just very concerning for a lot of the shop owners that have folks that are turning to other places instead of coming downtown because the parking is so challenged. I would appreciate if y'all would think about that before you move forward with what's on the agenda later for the expansion of those buildings. I think it's great that they are expanding. I love the fact that the St. James is going to be restored. But where's everybody going to park? So if you could maybe look at that before we move forward on that, that would be appreciated by the shop owners. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment, items not specified on the agenda? Come up, Ms. Masha.
I'm Marcia B. Kraft. I own LC Bells over on 4th Street, 111 North 4th Street for the past 3 years. It's been a retail shop since 1980. And I'm here tonight as a neighbor to the historic downtown because it happens, what happens to your street happens to our customers. I see the potential and I love the idea of the new businesses moving in, but I have to oppose the hotel projects because it builds rooms but not the parking to accommodate them. The fact that we're losing parking to the proposed expansion of the St. James Hotel as well as all of the parking on Reed Street gives me pause. Palatka has its own planning rules that recognize and encourages the quality and quantity of expansions in Palatka. The permitting process won't save us. It's time to comply with the parking before the buildings go up. I've seen this fail in other parts of Florida. Clearwater had to create a 500 per room yearly street permit parking because most of the hotels had fewer spaces than rooms. That was at the taxpayer's expense. As a small business owner, I live the impact. When a hotel guest takes 2-hour parking spaces in front of my stores, my customers drive by and I lose payroll. I have 60 entrepreneurial vendors in my shop. If my employee has to walk 4 blocks because someone has taken up the parking, who takes care of their safety in the evenings when it's dark early? Delivery trucks already double park on St. John Street. If you add Ubers to no lots available on our streets, it will be a gridlock and impassable for emergency vehicles. The developers may run a shuttle, from what I've heard, but those shuttles are going to take up curb space that we may need for a fire truck. So I appreciate your taking the time to look into this, and I'm hoping that we can find a suitable alternative to parking before we end up ruining the charm that brings people to Palatka.
Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, I'll close public comment. Do we want to respond, first starting with Bronson Mulholland? Is Mr. Baumgarten here? No, I don't see David. Is David here?
Mayor, if I may, as far as the Brunson Mulholland House, I did meet with David and Chris, both of them together. We did receive the 27 issues that Allegra was speaking on, and we have walked out and we're putting together a plan to address those issues as best as possible. We will be providing you with a report on that to identify what we are doing with the issues that's been reported and the items that basically wasn't included in the overall project scope. I can have David or Chris come up and answer any questions if you like.
No, I think we're okay with, as long as the follow-up is there. Commissioner Alexander's question about the additional baseball fields? Okay, go.
In short, absolutely, positively, something that I would like for this commission to take in consideration. And I actually would request that we put this on our agenda so that we can have the proper discussion as to how we would like to move forward, bringing staff into that conversation as well. But I am in full support of any partnerships that could happen between the city of Palatka and the county, so.
Yeah, I agree, and any opportunity, or additional opportunities for our youth is also a positive thing. Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
I'm support of community partnerships. However, I'm not sure I heard the ask. I heard interlocal agreement. I heard that sports and youth activities are growing. The city has parks. It sounds like if these are teams that are in the county, I'm not sure how what we have in place now does not address that. Would they not reach out to Mr. Cutright's department to request a use of facility? Do we need an interlocal agreement for that? I didn't clearly hear an ask other than some type of partnership. So I do need more information, but based on what I'm hearing, I'm not in support of the general statement I heard unless I know that what we have in place for our Parks and Recreation Department does not already address that or allow someone to use that park.
And I think that the suggestion, that Mr. Alexander made was perhaps to develop a proposal, and I think that should be in conjunction with Mr. Cutright, that they have a discussion and come up with a plan if that's what they want to do, if that's what they recommend.
Okay, okay, a plan, but I guess what I'm saying is what plan would be needed? We have parks, we have a recreation department, we have facilities in the city that are available for others to use by going through the proper process to request it. So I'm just not following
Are you not sure
what's
that it
being
needs to
asked.
come to us?
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's correct. We have a department, and I'm not
That's
sure
fine.
something else is needed.
Yeah.
And especially something to the extent of an interlocal agreement.
Go ahead, Commissioner Jones.
I agree with Commissioner Davis. It could be something as simple as a MOU, memo of understanding between the city and the county. The Recreation Department is just like we do with PALS, it's just using our facilities. It's already a public park, so they should be able to use it without really coming to us. Because taxpayers in the city pay county taxes as well. So for those kids to participate in their sports, whether it's Babe Ruth is a different entity though. But if it's a county-sponsored event, it's just the fees that I think is going to be probably a problem with who collects fees. That's what you're going to run into. And that's a memo of understanding I think that the departments should take up prior to it coming to the board. But I think we all will support youth activities in the city. We have parks that are not being used right now, and he was right about that.
I think maybe I was listening to it a little bit different. I do believe that there is an opportunity for some type of partnership for what we do not currently offer through our parks and recreations. There are sports that I think youth in the city would be able to benefit from if there was a mutual conversation or an agreement between the county and the city. So I do believe, from the perspective of what I gather, and it may come with the additional information that is requested, but I wasn't solely looking on them coming in and taking over the parks. I'm looking for the partnership that could possibly happen with recreation or sports that we currently do not have, or the way that the students, youth in the community could possibly benefit from being able to be a part, whether it's even a discount price or something of that nature for youth that may be able to participate. So I'm looking, maybe I looked at it a little bit different, but that's what I was taking. That's why I wanted us to be able to bring this to a meeting and possibly have Commissioner Alexander to come back and be a little bit more in-depth in his request, but I think he was just saying if this was something that we are willing to entertain, so then you would be able to bring staff in to look into the request a little bit further.
So I think the direction that I'm hearing is that the recreation are, that Mr. Cartwright and maybe County Recreation, with input from Commissioner Alexander, get together and just kind of come up with their ideas and just how to work this out as simply as possible.
Correct. And Mayor, just want to be clear, yes, that is what I'm saying, that this is a department situation. I don't know that it's a commission.
Right, and that's what I'm saying, we can
Yes,
get back to the
that-
department.
As simple as that. Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Parking. I don't know if Mr. Agama wants to come up and give us a brief overview of our ordinances in regards to parking, and,
Madam Mayor, they're referring to parking in the downtown.
yes,
We do have an item on the public hearing tonight.
correct.
That is, it is what their concerns are regarding the parking. I would prefer that we discuss
Wait.
that at that point.
Okay, thank you. On to the consent agenda. There was a recommendation from staff to pull item 2026 R82, which is
Aye. Aye.
I, item I, to pull item I. Is there anything else?
C. For discussion.
Okay,
And I'd like to pull 8.
okay. Anything else? Anybody else? I, C, and H. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the consent agenda excluding items C, H, and I for discussion.
Second.
We have a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. C, ratification of the agreement reached between the firefighters union and the city regarding longevity pay grievance.
Mayor, we have Attorney Rob Larkin, who is representing the city and participated in the negotiations for the resolution of the grievance brought by the union, and he's attending via Zoom.
Welcome, Mr. Larkin.
Thank you. I'm honored to be before you.
The person at fault.
From the conversation I've had with the city attorney in reference to this grievance and basically budget ratification, it's brought to my attention that, I think all of our attention, that the former city manager actually entered in this this agreement with the fire union, and it actually constituted a budget increase. Well, it clearly states that if that happened, we could actually ratify this or not ratify this and go back to the drawing board, which the information that was gathered was the city manager did not act properly in the negotiation. I wanted to be transparent. I wanted to be brought out in this meeting. If the attorney felt that things was not handled properly, I don't think we should ratify this at this time. So further discussion should be led by the attorney in her intent, or Mr. Larkin, if he wished to do so, to clarify this for us collectively.
Mr. Larkin, if you'd like to give us all the facts, please.
Yes, ma'am. On April 22nd, we met, myself, the city manager, city attorney, fire chief. I believe that there was an assistant fire chief, someone from finance, and I believe someone from human resources, and we discussed the strategy of our meeting with the union the following day. We outlined some opportunities that we thought we could resolve the grievance, and I won't get into those specifics because I believe that that would be attorney-client privileged, and I don't know that we want that on the public record. But the opportunities that we saw as potential resolution were not communicated the following morning. I did not participate necessarily in the negotiations in terms of making offers and counter offers. I believe the city manager gave an overview of where the parties were at and the status of the negotiations up until till that day. And at some point, the union made a proposal, and the city manager called a caucus, on which time that proposal was discussed. I think a member of human resources or finance was brought in to discuss it with her. And when the union returned, she agreed to accept their proposal and instructed me to write up the terms of it, which I did, and then instructed me to sign it, which I did. And I think the council member that mentioned that that this agreement can be ratified or cannot be ratified, I think that is that's the question before the board.
Thank you. Does anybody
Hello,
have-
for the record, this is Jim Brantley with Donnelly and Gross for the union, the attorney that represented the union at the negotiation. I just wanted council to understand that I'm participating in the meeting as well.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
So the crux of the matter right now is this. If we hired a union attorney to represent us with the fire department union attorney, and he didn't participate, don't you think they should go back to the drawing board? We did not have representation, as he just told you. Our attorney wasn't there. Union attorney wasn't there. So I think that it would be wise if they go back and actually go through this process again before we sign something that clearly states here the city manager cannot do basically what she did. Am I reading this right, Mr. Larkin?
Except for a point of clarification, Mr. Jones, I am the attorney. I'm the labor attorney that represents the city of Palatka. So I was there as a representative for the city. I just did not participate in the negotiations as I think we envisioned the evening before.
You did or you did not participate in the?
I was present. I was physically present, but
The
I did
question-
not participate.
He did not.
Right, he did not participate.
He was present. He was present.
So if you guys are okay with it, I just wanted to bring it up because I wanted to make certain that we don't sign a ratification here knowing that our attorney that we hired did not participate in the negotiation. So.
Go ahead, Commissioner Davis.
So just to backtrack a little bit, the process that got us here was based on information provided to our HR for how we previously addressed, and I may ask our city attorney to give me the right terminology, of we got direction, or HR got direction on how to calculate the longevity pay. And that information was all spelled out, agreed upon. The contract was approved by both the city and the union. And I believe there was some misinterpretation of the amount based on that agreed upon contract. And I'm generalizing, which is how we got here.
That is correct. You did ratify a 3-year union contract with the firefighters union last September.
Okay. And so to that point, there was a disagreement about what the actual pay would be in general, generally speaking, and if you want to
Correct.
put some
Very
teeth in it.
generally, there
Okay.
was a disagreement as to how the base pay with longevity would be calculated.
Correct. And now to fast forward, so that's what, that's the catalyst for the grievance. So fast forward to what we're talking about tonight. The former city manager had an option to resolve the grievance. While she could not make the, she couldn't give the option in and of, it exceeded her level of approval or authority. Whatever she gave them that they agreed upon has to be ratified by the commission. So my first question is, and Ms. Pierre, to our finance director, were you involved in any discussion about the amounts and how we would pay for those amounts? Because from my understanding, it looks like it's going to result in an increase in the budget. And did you discuss with the former city manager where those funds would come from or how it would be addressed before this was presented?
I attended the meeting the day before the negotiation. So I will say I was involved in the sense that I was at the meeting alongside the attorney and the HR, and discussions were made as far as the different options, and there were discussions made about the amounts and the impact on the budget. And the following day, I was supposed to be a part of the meeting. The plan was that the meeting may last throughout the whole entire day. The city manager would attend the first half of the meeting, we were thinking the morning to like noon, and I would attend in the later afternoon as she had to attend other meetings throughout the day. And when the time came, I went over to where the location of the meeting had ended. So I was not at the meeting because it had already ended.
And so did you have any subsequent conversations or discussion about the impact on the budget from the proposed solution?
I had a discussion with the former city manager in the parking lot about the impact. We did discuss the impact of the decision that was made.
And as the finance manager, did you come back and consider that and identify how the city could deliver on this solution? In other words, you know that this results in an increase, correct? Are you aware?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, and do you know where the city would get the funds from to provide this increase if this was ratified?
I did not have that information. I don't have that right here before me. So at this very moment, I don't know. I don't have that information before me. And
It's also for a 3-year period.
It's over this increase divided by 3?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Pierre. May I ask, Ms. Jones, HR, were you at the meeting?
It's each year.
Yes, ma'am. We were at the not at the meeting the day of. I was simply called in. I think the fire people went outside, and it was the attorney, Mr. Larkin, Ms. Carty, and she was simply going over some numbers that I had given her, and she was asking me, did they calculate in just for if the longevity was added on top? Is that what the numbers that were calculated? I was showing her what would be an increase, and I said yes. And she said she didn't need me anymore, and I left.
Okay, so you said yes to the proposal?
No.
Oh.
The numbers.
Okay,
She was
so you-
asking me how I calculated and was it based on that number of hours.
Okay,
That
so
was it.
you verified the numbers?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Ms., and this is for the attorney or whomever needs to answer this question. Based on the information that we were provided in the packet, today, it looks like there is going to be a $155,763.04 increase in the budget is divided by 3. Is that correct? And can somebody, if not, can someone give me those numbers, please?
I don't know if Ms. Pia can or I thought it was each year, and it would be, I had different numbers, but can you come up and, I was told the numbers, so.
That's
That may
why.
be true for this year, it's a partial year.
Because it's been some time since this occurred, and I don't have the numbers before me, but I do remember that the numbers that were considered was only considering the second half of the fiscal year. So
that's
the
what that number is, the
so
second
that-
half of that number, 150.
The 150 is, I don't believe that represents the second half of the fiscal year.
I don't know. Is there anyone here who understands the impact to the city, who can give us a definitive impact for consideration?
I don't have the actual numbers, but the way I remember it was about $70,000 more for a 3-year period, which would be about $23,000 a year. But Ms. Jones would have better numbers on that, but that's the way I understood it, was about 70,000.
Okay, just for, yeah.
Thank you.
A small amount, and I was just doing some quick figuring. I'm trying to get some numbers here today as it pertains to that. And what I did was just simply pulled the firefighters that were in question and hours, and I had to, because we have 2 different hours that we're operating when we say an impact. We have the base hours that are 56 a week, we have those. And we can pretty much, so when I'm basing it on 5 months, I'm looking at we're computing for the rest of this fiscal year, 1,230 hours. Okay? So I broke that down by what that would look like for them at the new rate. So just that portion on regular hours, I came up with about almost $20,000. Okay? And then, since the firefighters overtime and halftime, I think it's called, halftime, they have these, and they're not steady. So what I did was pull the year on these 6 to get an average of what they were averaging and what a year divided by 12 and then times it times 5, just to get an average. So this is not an all-encompassing number for just those particular firefighters, and that amount, and these are loaded numbers. I'm including pension, I'm including taxes and everything, and that's gonna push around 30,000.
Okay.
This is just taking us through this fiscal year,
Okay.
just this fiscal year, okay?
Thank you.
So I will, actually, I'm going to go ahead and yield, and then I want to come back and give my opinion about
Okay,
this.
thank you. So, with not knowing all the information, that's the reason why I wanted to just pull and discuss. Secondly, I want the attorney, our attorney, well, it doesn't matter, either one, to read the legal summary. And if you would go down to what Florida statute say with it about this, chapter 447 of the statute. If you read subsection, actually the entire section, in the conclusion, so that we can all be on the same page. We got this memo, but I would like the legal interpretation of it. Could you do that for me, Ms.
I'm
West?
going to defer to Mr. Larkin since he authored the memo.
That's fine.
And just so I'm clear, Mr. Jones, you want me to read the conclusion of the memo? Or
Absolutely, so
Yes,
it'll be
please.
clear to all of us.
Okay. The conclusion
I
reads,
believe he wants section 2 and 3, or just 3?
2 and 3, the conclusion, he's going to tell us what he,
Just to be clear, Mr. Larkin, he wants section 2, legal summary, and section 3, conclusion read.
okay. So section 2 legal summary reads as follows. Chapter 447 of Florida statutes generally governs employee rights, labor unions, collective bargaining, and the interactions between management and labor, especially for public sector employees. Section 447.309, parens 2 of Florida statutes governs appropriations associated with collective bargaining agreements. This provision of the statute states that the chief executive, in this instance, the city manager, shall request the legislative body to appropriate such amounts as shall be sufficient to fund the provisions of the collective bargaining agreement. See section 447.309, parens 2, parens A. However, The legislative body approving the budgetary request has the absolute right to fund or not fund agreements arising out of collective bargaining. See, for example, Sarasota County School District versus Sarasota Classified Teachers Association, 614 Southern 2nd, 1143 at pages 1148 through 49, Florida 2nd District Court of Appeal, 1993. This absolute right over appropriations means that a chief executive cannot, through collective bargaining, exceed the budgetary authority previously approved by the legislative body, meaning a legislature has the absolute right to underfund an agreement. See also United Faculty of Florida versus Florida Board of Regents, 365 Southern 2nd, 1073 at pages 1077 through 79, Florida 1st District Court of Appeal, 1979. A chief executive and negotiating agent cannot bind an agreement on an employer without ratification of a legislative body, and that is especially true for budgetary matters. See, for example, City of Winter Haven versus Florida Public Employees Relations Commission, 358 Southern 2nd, 1374 at pages 1376 through 77, Florida District Court of Appeal, 1978. Through resolving a grievance, a city manager cannot exceed the delegated authority from the legislative body absent subsequent ratification. See also Sheriff of Pasco County versus Florida State Lodge, 53 Southern 3rd, 1073, Florida 1st District Court of Appeals, 2010. Section 3, Conclusion. Accordingly, a review of the relevant law determines that budgetary authority to fund or to not fund certain agreements contemplated by a collective bargaining agreement lacks with the legislative body and is vested with the legislative body and the legislative body alone. A city manager, through grievance resolution proceedings, cannot exceed the delegated budgetary authority granted by the legislative body. Therefore, the agreement that the city manager in this instance sought to enforce to adjust and increase pay in exchange for a back pay waiver and cancellation of a subsequent arbitration in excess of the allocated budget of the city is subject to ratification by the legislative body. It is up to the city council to determine whether to ratify the agreement from the city manager, especially as it affects its budget for the fiscal year. If you have any questions, any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact either myself or another attorney with Allen Norton Blue.
All right. So, per your memorandum, these actions did put us in a deficit with our budget. No matter how small it is, it's a deficit. Okay, so it wasn't budgeted for it. Secondly, I personally feel that arbitration should be next versus us going ahead and ratifying this contract. I feel strongly with that. If the rest of the commission don't feel that way, I can understand. However, case law support us doing that. So I wanted the attorney to read it. I know Ms. West wasn't involved in this, the collective bargaining, or I guess this last ordeal with Ms. Carty in the fire department. However, I think that we should go back to, another remedy is arbitration at this time. Isn't that an option at this time, or is it, Mr. Larson?
It absolutely, I'm certain, I would defer to Mr. Brantley, but I'm certain that obviously if it's not ratified, that the union will renew its request for arbitration, and that is where we would proceed. But the council still would have an opportunity, I would think. I don't know what Mr. Brantley would say, and I don't want to guess or speculate for him, but we would still also have an opportunity to perhaps return to the table and perhaps discuss another resolution that might be more palatable for the council if this is not going to be ratified.
Yeah.
So arbitration is out there, yes, but there may also be another opportunity to resolve this. But I have not spoken to Mr. Brantley personally about the union's feelings about that.
So if I still got a floor, do you want to speak before I make a
Yes,
motion?
please.
Go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
So I'd like to offer another perspective on this. So arbitration is not free. We're paying for an attorney. From what I understand, for the rest of this fiscal year, there's an approximately $30,000 impact to our budget. The piece that I don't think we're talking about here is who's impacted by these decisions. Our first responders, and in particular, 6 of our longest employed firefighters are who's impacted by this. Their longevity pay is obviously overdue. So I'd like for us to consider recognizing that no, the prior city manager did not have authority to enter into this agreement without the commission ratifying it, but to really consider, we're going to pay money regardless. And if we're going to pay money, I'd rather eat the $30,000 for this year to bring our 6 longest-serving firefighters up to the correct longevity pay and ensure that going forward, we're all on the same page and understand how this should work. I do not believe, again, first responders, longevity pay overdue, continuous arbitration will cost money. We're spending regardless. So I would like for the commission to consider ratifying this agreement because there were some other concessions that were made that really have resulted in a lesser increase. I know that's an oxymoron, but a lesser increase than it could have been if we went back to the date of the contract. So I'd like to put that out for consideration. So I am in favor of ratifying this agreement.
Well,
I was going to say, I have a concern in ratifying it, that we don't have all the facts, we don't have all the
Exactly.
numbers. So yes, we may have an estimate of 30,000 for the rest of this fiscal year, but what about the next 2 years?
So
That's my concern in
So
ratifying
that
it.
is
At
my-
this moment, I'm not
okay.
saying we shouldn't ratify
So-
it going forward.
So to answer your question, it's not that I ignored that, but considering it, then we are in budget workshops now, and we have to consider the salaries for our firefighters going forward, and we have the ability to adjust our budget to make sure salaries for our first responders, in particular fire department and police department, and for me, safety is my priority for this city, that they are paid. Tonight, we had the opportunity to witness firefighter Stevens receive an award. And I think that speaks to the caliber of personnel we have here in our fire department. Is it-
Water.
Excuse me?
Let her finish, please.
Yeah, that,
Let her finish, please. Go ahead.
I'm just speaking from my perspective and what's important to me and for what I see as important to the citizens of our city. Again, that's my perspective. Thank you.
Commissioner Jones?
okay. If we want to be really transparent here, really transparent, one of the issues and one of the reasons why we don't have a city manager is because of a misstep. And this jumping into a contract negotiations or failing to follow what our attorney suggests contributed to it. And if we're coming back and saying, oh, it wasn't a big deal, how do we get to that point? Yeah, I'm talking about Ms. Carty, and I'm talking about she was trying to make this happen, and it became a problem when it was brought to our attention that she went against the grain, okay? So let's go back to saying what I was saying. Not saying we're not going to ratify this, but let's do it right. We got an opportunity to do it right. We hired, the attorney is already hired to do their job. The attorney gave us the overview of what he felt the direction we should head to make this right, and I think that's what we should do. Not saying that we don't want to get the 6 highest tenured firefighters what they're due. Eventually, I think we'll get to that, but I would like to make this process go the way it should have went by utilizing the attorney that we paid, which he just said he didn't even participate.
Okay.
So if we say, well, arbitration is going to cost us, what did this cost us to have an attorney and he didn't participate? Some things that, I mean,
So
we're
Commissioner
working, it
Jones.
sounds like we're
One at a
working
time,
backwards.
please.
And I don't want, it's not a personal thing, but I would like to, let's get it right. And I do feel for the the fire department and the firefighters that have endured this. We want to make it right, but we need to make it right now going forward, not saying, well, we'll do this now and then we'll make it right the next time. We have an opportunity right now, and that's all I'm saying. So I don't want to go back and forth with it. I understand we go to a vote right now. I don't want to go back and forth with it, but it sounds like the mayor understands where I'm coming from with this. I just want to get it right now. With this is being transparent. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Commissioner.
So
Davis.
let me ask for a point of clarification. The memo that you're referencing, and this is for the labor attorney, Mr. Larkin, this memo, the legal summary and conclusion, from my understanding of reading this document, is simply saying the city manager does not have authority to, that whatever decision was made by the city attorney or former city attorney needs to be ratified. That's what I'm reading here. I don't see any other recommendation to go back to arbitration or to do anything differently. Am I misunderstanding your memo?
No, Ms. Davis, you're understanding it correctly. That I'm simply stating what the law is that the council will have to ratify it. Now, I'm not taking a position on whether you should or you shouldn't. I'm just simply
Correct.
saying that this would be subject to ratification since this exceeded her budgetary authority. And
Thank
whatever
you.
the council decides to do is the council's prerogative.
Thank you. And that's what I understood. So I'm not reading any more, any less. The other reason I'm recommending that we ratify this is because Mr. Larkin was present. He did not participate. I don't know what that reason is, but he was present. Mr. Larkin, was there an opportunity or was there a need for you to do anything differently than you did when you were in that negotiation meeting?
The negotiation meeting that took place on the morning of April 23rd, I think was not in what we discussed the prior evening, April 22nd, was not what unfolded on the morning of April 23rd. It was my understanding that I was going to lead the negotiations and that I had some options that we had agreed to that we could potentially resolve this with. I did not lead the negotiations. Ms. Carty did. Ms. Carty gave an overview. They gave there was some back and forth about, how longevity pay had been interpreted and when the interpretation changed and so forth and so on. They made a proposal that they would waive their back pay from the inception of the contract, which would be October 1st through May 8th. Ms. Carty asked that they step out at some point in that the human resource I think it's Miss Virginia came in. That Miss Virginia and Miss Carty had a discussion over the figures. I was not part of that. I asked Miss Carty at some point whether she wanted to make a counter offer, and she instructed me that she did not. And then when they returned, I went out in the hallway, asked them to return, and when they came back in, she accepted their offer.
Thank you.
That was all that essentially transpired. I did not lead the negotiations, and we did not make an offer to the union. We simply accepted theirs.
Thank you. Based on that information, then I'm going to change my decision because what you recommended was not what was presented. So to that end, I would like to move forward with you leading the negotiation and going back to consider this. Thank you. I withdraw my original decision based
Okay,
on that.
So is that a motion or is somebody making a motion?
Make a motion that we table this discussion until it go back through arbitration or an attempt to arbitrate with the union if they accept
Negotiation
it.
or
Negotiate,
arbitration.
excuse me, yeah. If they accept, their attorney accept. That's basically, saying it was a breakdown in negotiations.
Okay, so a couple of different things here. Arbitration is definitely different from going back to the table to have settlement discussions. Arbitration is probably going to cost between $30,000 to $40,000, which is why we had the informal settlement meeting instead. Your options here are to ratify the agreement that is before you or not, with instructions on how you would like to proceed.
Well, I move to not ratify this contract.
Second.
Your motion is second. Is anybody here for public comment on this item? Please come up and give your name and city, town of residence.
My name is Marcus Wilson. I'm the president of Local 2992, the Professional Firefighters of Palatka. We went to negotiations, started April last year. We ended right before the budget in September. Longevity was not discussed during the whole negotiation. Longevity has been paid all the way, this is for the 6 individuals, their old longevity, has been paid all the way up until October 1st. As of October 1st, the city decided not to pay the 6 individuals their old longevity. And after October 1st, if anybody came into longevity at their 10, 15, or 20-year mark, they received longevity on top of their base pay. Everybody that's been here for 10, 15, and 20 years has not received their longevity since October 1st that they've always received prior to. I don't know if y'all understand that, but
I'm seeing a shaking of the head from HR.
Do you have anything else to say?
that's all I have, ma'am.
Okay,
It's
we'll,
just,
we'll have HR come up
Yeah, I would
afterward,
like-
after public comment. Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment? Please come up and, yeah, you can fill out a card, Mr. Clunch, afterwards. Give your name and city, town, residence.
My name is Robbie Clunch, Palatka, Florida. I basically just have a question. I just want to make sure I understand this. If y'all don't ratify this, it will go to arbitration, correct?
No.
No, y'all have the chance to renegotiate it? That's all I need to know.
Thank you. Thank you. Is there anybody else here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Did you want to respond in some way, Ms. Jones?
Just to restate what Mr. Wilkins was saying, the way things were done, but as we discussed during meetings, as we were going through this negotiating process, the contract, the one that was adopted and ratified by you all, does state that longevity is paid, is 5% of the base, not on top of the base. We've gone through this time after time with them, and because I think previously it's been done one way, this is the way it's been done, so we've always had it there. But the contract states it's 5% every 5, 10, or 15 years of the base, not on top of the base. And so they have been receiving their longevity. So it's not like we took their longevity. If they had a 10-year mark, a 15-year mark, that longevity was given. And they want it on top of the base. And when we renegotiated the new contract, that longevity was included in the base pay of where they were placed, which was above where in actuality my original sheet where they should have been placed. But Ms. Carty made that determination and they were placed I think some of them received being placed into the stepping grade from the old firefighter union, an increase of $3 to $4 an hour, okay? So this was a difference in that, I will say that. So that contract states 5% of the base, not on top of the base. That's clear language. Anybody, you can just read that. That's just very clear as how that. I stood by that, but I understand what Mr. Wilson is saying because it was always done like that. They received it like that. But it wasn't taken away from them, and they did receive it at 10, 15, and 20-year marks.
great. So also verify what I'm saying. We want to do it right. We want to get it right. Secondly, I have a question. In the bargaining, who was the representative for the fire department union? Who?
Oh, Mr. Wilson is the president, and then there
Attorney.
were other firefighters.
Attorney.
Attorney.
Attorney. Oh.
Anybody know?
Who was the attorney present during this?
During negotiations, Ms. West attended.
No, you're the attorney for the firefighters, and
No,
please.
no, we represent ourselves.
I think you're
I'm on the
speaking
Zoom
with-
call. James Brantley.
And Terrell Hill.
And who?
Terrell Hill.
That used to be the mayor. Okay. I don't have any more questions.
I don't think that we can easily move past by that. Is there any conflict that comes as a result of that association?
No, not that I
No.
see. He has a private practice.
He's no longer an employee of the city.
He's not employed by the city in any capacity. He's free to, he has cases pending against the city of Palatka. It's
No,
not a
and the
conflict.
reason I'm asking is just as a point of transparency, because again, now that that has come up, there may be some individuals within the community that poses questions and things of that nature. So we want that to be completely transparent, that there is no conflict with regards to, so.
But there is no conflict, in my opinion. This is a negotiation between the city of Palatka and the firefighters union, and they are free to hire whomever they want as counsel.
Mayor, just a quick question for Attorney West. If we don't ratify this, what happens next? What are the next steps?
So if you don't proceed with ratification, the options, and Mr. Larkin, Mr. Brantley, correct me if I'm wrong, you can opt for another informal settlement resolution, negotiating session to try and resolve it, or the other alternative, and it is expensive, is arbitration. The reason we went to the informal is because of the expense of the arbitration.
So let me ask you this with regards to time. I sat quiet because I saw both sides of the conversation, and again, I agree with wanting to do right. But with reference to if this is not or does not pass tonight, what is the opportunity of an informal meeting happening prior to our next meeting so that it's not pushed out for months or anything of that nature, and we're looking at a 2-week time frame to have this conversation amongst the individuals that need to be in place, led by the correct person? How can we get this done prior to our 28th meeting?
Right. It's a good question. We have to have cooperation from the union to meet in an informal context. That is something that they would have to agree to do. Perhaps counsel for the union can give some sort of assurance that they would be amenable to another informal meeting. But you have to have two parties agreeing to come together for that meeting. Otherwise, arbitration is the only option left. In terms of the timing, that is a tight time frame to have that occur before the 28th, which is our next meeting. I'll defer to council, Mr. Brantley, Mr. Larkin, if you have availability. And
I mean, I don't think that, I think if there was already a conversation had on behalf of the city, only thing that it needs to be done is presented to, I don't think it's going back to the drawing board and starting at complete numbers, starting at zero. There has already been a conversation about what should have been translated in that meeting that involved the union, and that did not happen. So I don't think it's completely going back to the drawing board, trying to come up with a whole new scenario of things to present. So again, I think that's one positive, but I just don't want to push it back really any further. But again, I saw both sides of the conversation that was brought forth by Commissioner Davis as well as Commissioner Jones. But again, I think it's an opportunity for us to do it the correct way. And who knows what may come as a result of that conversation. But I would hope that, and I'll speak directly to the individuals that sit before me, because you all have spoken to us, and I don't want you to feel as if we are, I am turning, I can't speak for the commission, a deaf ear to trying to get this resolved. I hope that you trust us enough to allow us the opportunity to do or bring back the process that we put in place prior, which was to have Mr. Larkin, Attorney Larkin, to represent us, but in hopes of you all understanding that we want to make sure that we do this right. And not only right by the commission, but right by you as well. So I'm speaking directly to you because you spoke directly to me, and I just would hope that in my time of being here, I've earned enough trust that I'm not trying to sweep anything under the rug or do anything indifferent. I want to make sure that this is done correctly. I want to make sure that all presentations or everything that should have been presented have the opportunity, because you don't know what was presented and we don't as well, and this will give that opportunity. So I would hope that you give grace in this time, and I'm trying to hope that it could be done within the next 2 weeks.
So back to Ms. West, I mean, it's something that Mr. Brantley and Mr. Larkin.
Again, this is up to, you have to have two cooperative parties in order to meet again. So if we can do that, Commissioner Campbell, you're absolutely right. We're not starting from square one. All the parties have the requisite information to move forward. It's just a matter of
Coming together.
Do we have a
willingness to come together.
a willingness and the time frame?
The 2 weeks may be,
I don't think 2 weeks is enough. I mean, there's a conversation, and there should be, if you can't meet within the 2 weeks, of course, then we understand.
Right, but at
However,
least to make
given
the
the
effort.
urgency of what has come before us, because this has not been something that, I mean, this has been on the table for quite some time now.
Yeah.
So I don't want to
agree.
push it so far out to where it feels, and again, I'll say this every time I have an opportunity to, we talk about a lot of things when they're hot, but when they're no longer hot, it's kind of pushed to the back burner. And so I don't want this to be one of those things, because they have been waiting patiently for us. That's why I'm making the recommendation to try to have that meeting within the next 2 weeks so that it can come back before the commission. And if that can't happen, and then we come up with the next alternative, but if it can happen, let's make it happen.
I think we all agree with that. I mean, nobody's,
I
So
have
we
a
have,
question.
yes, we have a motion and a second on the table. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you.
Could I
Go ahead.
have a moment of transparency? Let me mention about what happened. We were not there. The parties involved were 2 attorneys and the city manager, former city manager. And I can't go further in this meeting without saying what I'm about to say right now. Ms. Carty was trying to get this done. I almost said it. She was trying to get this done, and I guess it was a misstep. Now I'm talking to the union, okay? And it was a misstep, and it was actually brought to the commission's attention.
Okay, so Commissioner,
What? No, because you know what? It don't feel
The
good.
attorney was speaking.
Let Attorney West.
I'm speaking.
No, but let Attorney West say what she has to say
Go ahead.
first, please, and just wait. Thank you.
Yeah.
there are some issues that I would urge caution on in terms of some
Speaking about the
pending
former city
matters.
manager.
And let's just leave it, we do have a vote, and let's just move forward. Please.
Yeah, but
Please.
it's easy to say when it didn't affect you the way it's affecting others. And, you know, this is like the second time where there's been somebody that really have tried to do right by the citizens, by the employees, and they got the bad end of the stick. And I'll say it this way, you can read between the lines. They got the bad end of the stick because they were trying to do what's right. Only for this commission or others to come back and do exactly what they were doing. And nothing happened. Okay? So, to ratify this agreement was an effort by the city manager. Come back and do the same thing we're being asked to do tonight. And it would have happened if we had brought up certain aspects of what happened. And we all would have known that the attorney didn't take partake in the bargaining or the negotiations. We didn't know that.
I did. I spoke to the attorney directly.
Well,
So did
well,
I.
well, after the
anyway.
fact. Okay, so,
Yeah.
so after the fact. However, it was brought to my attention that it was a great misstep prior to. And so the misstep happened and we took action, almost like knee jerk. Yeah, if you could go with it being on your conscience like that, you guys are, this is the job for you guys, but I'm telling you, it doesn't feel right when it comes to people's livelihood and we turn around and do the same thing. And you guys can read through between the lines. And I just need to get out of my conscience because it doesn't feel right up here when we're going and doing the same thing that we basically penalize somebody for doing. I'm sorry, man.
That's
You guys know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
I don't either, but it doesn't matter. Can we get to the agenda?
Okay, H, adopt resolution 2026 R81, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Palatka,
Oh,
Florida.
I'm sorry, I pulled another item.
Uh,
I pulled H.
That's what I'm reading.
Oh, I'm sorry,
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
Adopt resolution 2026 R81, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Palatka, Florida, incorporating the proposed new employee hiring policy to Appendix 16 of the Personnel Policy and providing for Scrivener's errors. Ms. Davis.
Yes, Ms. Jones, the reason I pulled this, the last paragraph in the draft that we received, I just want to make sure because it didn't fit with the heading. This is the, I guess my question is that last section, let me tell you. It looks like it's language that's considering an internal employee going to a new position. Is that correct?
For the last paragraph, a completed application, is that where we're at?
Okay, well, let me pull it. What item is this, see? I'm sorry, I can't. Oh, here it is. Thank you. The portion that says, yes, a completed application, yes,
And the change of status form?
correct.
So that part there, this is still, this is from a new hire perspective. This is not like job vacancies, but this is new hires. A brand-new employee coming
okay.
in. So.
Oh, okay, so after, where does that fit in? It seems like it's just out of place. Is it just a random statement?
It was language in the old one which could very easily be removed because it doesn't bring any,
Clarity?
Yeah, that is confusion.
Right, okay.
And that's why
Yes, ma'am.
I pulled this.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't understand
Okay.
two things. Number one, if it is, where does it fit into this process? You have a flow for other things.
Right.
And this is just a random paragraph.
that was a piece that was
And so-
already in the policy. For that piece of language there, that wasn't, only thing that's been added is what you see in red.
No, I understand.
So that was a piece that was in there that was flowing with the new hire on top of, before the part that was taken out at the very beginning. Speaking of career source and all of that.
Then let me ask a different question. Is it still relevant?
No, ma'am.
So if it's not relevant, then, because I don't want to move to approve this, or I will by deleting that.
Yes,
I guess
okay.
that's the only way, deleting it or rewriting it so that it has the same language as a policy and putting it into the appropriate place. So are you saying it's not
The
relevant?
3 paragraphs that you talk about can be removed, and that last statement needs to stay as the end that says no employee should be allowed to start to work. That's a part of the new hire. Just
Okay,
that statement there. The other 3 that
okay.
you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so to that point, I move to approve Resolution 2026-R-81 with the noted change to remove the the 3 paragraphs before the last paragraph.
After the policy review.
After the
Yes.
policy review, 5,
after
number 5,
policy
policy
review.
review.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. We have a motion, do we have a second? We have a motion, a second. Anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing no one, close public comment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. I, adopt resolution 2026-R-82, a resolution of the City Commission of the City of Palatka, Florida, authorizing the establishment of a dedicated audio-visual AV control center, approving the transition to the OBS studio platform for meeting production and streaming, directing Public Works to evaluate the proposed control room location, and authorizing staff to proceed with implementation, planning, and system upgrades, providing for an effective date.
So Mayor,
Yes.
staff wanted to pull this item so that we can give you a better understanding, one, of the activities that will be taking place and what will be included in the project, as well as some additional costs that's going to be associated to it. So at this time, if you would, I'd like to bring up Greta Hall. I apologize. And I think Karen will also provide some insight if she has.
Okay, thank you.
Hello. I did just a real quick PowerPoint just to kind of break some stuff down, and you all have copies of it. So I wanted to kind of, I'm going to click to the next. Just to kind of overview of the timeline from the discussions that the commission had in March and the activity that's taken place within the time span. We have met multiple times with the IT department of the AV system for the Putnam County. Shout out to them because they have been amazing in their communications with us and their suggestions. But this was just a general timeline of the process itself and where we are today. Just to kind of give you a heads up of what that is. Click. Again, the overview is that you had directed us to really evaluate the current system, taking into consideration some of the recommendations you had regarding how the county has their system set up, and kind of coming in and putting up a plan utilizing as much as the equipment we currently have, in addition to upgrading what parts of our system need to be updated just due to age. Next. George Williams has helped as well. The key recommendations in this area were to establish a designated control center. So those of you who have been to those commission meetings know that the AV system, the presentations, they're all presented from the back room of their area. And that would be what we would want to create here, removing the IT and AV system from the city manager or city clerk, so the city clerk can do city clerk job. That would require just this basic breakdown using O'Call, who is the one who put in our main system. They know the system. They're going through each individual piece to make sure what was current, what needed to be what was outdated, what needed to be increased. Also, it actually isolates and puts a hub all together, so there would be no separation. Like we have AV systems in the back here, we have AV stuff in the back here, we have AV stuff in the back there. This would be all centralized located. It would be easier to access and easier to streamline the whole process there. So the estimated relocation costs was in the proposal that you guys have a location of. The proposed location would be in the very back as part of a section of the break room. We did work and get an additional quote from Public Works of $4,000 to accommodate that transition. And then the final, of course, would be an approval from you. The system upgrade recommendations, the OBS studio platform is actually a free product, but what it does is it allows us to navigate in a more professional manner. So we will be able to do transitions, we will be able to present with a better, higher quality, and it helps integrate a lot more of these systems to help eliminate some of the technical issues we have with our current situation by simply going in, and the way we do it now is that we actually log in to Zoom and then we link it to YouTube, and there's really a lot of problems that are incorporated with those transitions, and making it clean and direct will eliminate a lot of the technical issues that we have. Again, the enhancements for staff would be each of the commissioners would have a small visual monitor in your area, so we would not be utilizing these for you guys. These would be what they were originally intended for, and that would be for out here. You would have that ability to see that right there. One of the things that was requested is the process of notification. That is a proprietary device that was created solely by their IT department. Jesse is the one who created that program. The commissioner from last night did say that he had already reached out to Jesse about potentially creating that for us as well. We would have to look at the actual cost of that, if there's any additional cost, AV stuff, and recommendations for that, but we would not be able to support it if it broke, because you can't buy it. So those are a couple of other things that we might have to look into. But this will streamline a lot of what our current issues are. Preliminary cost estimates anywhere range between $18,009 to $19,600. And this is, again, a general overview. If any additional changes happen, it would probably be within this realm. We don't foresee anything being larger than this at this moment. There was discussion of where this would come from. I know that that was a discussion between the former city manager and our finance director, so she may be able to tell you exactly where that money was projected to be pulled from. And the next steps would be approval from the commission to move forward from this point. And we would finalize the scope of work and put a timetable in coordination with the city commission meetings, so that we do not create a issue with our meetings. If you have any questions, just let me know. Commissioner Alexander? Yeah, Commissioner Alexander had made a mention when we were talking about the proprietary, that their IT department had actually built that notification system. And originally Jesse had said, that would be an issue because obviously, and then Commissioner Alexander last night said he had actually instructed Jesse to look really into that. The realization is that if Jesse wins the lotto and he goes away and it breaks, there's nobody there to fix it. So I just want to be transparent with that. It's a great system, but we also need to look at the longevity of the system so don't have a continuous problem later.
Ma'am.
Go ahead, Commissioner Jones.
So $20,000, and we were just quoted about a month ago that we just needed a amplifier. And, yeah, wasn't we? Am I the only one that?
It was something that was connected.
You said amplifier, right?
It was the amplifier that was connected to underneath here, that's connected to the back room.
All right.
Yeah, so that was a fix.
So we went from an amplifier to now we need monitors and lights for $20,000. I think that's a huge expense. But it's for the small room, and I thought that, tell me if I'm wrong, one of the plans was maybe going to Port Consolidated to utilize it as a meeting room. I don't know. I mean, I just think that's a big expense just to be able to get on a Zoom call.
Well, it's not just for that.
I heard everything he said. You broke it down nice, but I just giving my opinion on it.
Yeah, we were just moving forward based upon the recommendations and suggestions we received.
Again,
AV situation.
So the AV, will it take two people to operate it like it does now?
There'll be a single person, which would be myself in the back, and then the city clerk would be doing the city clerk, her position as a city clerk.
Will we be able to remember last night I asked about chat? Constituents being able to get on the chat platform and ask questions, is that?
That's not something that the city has ever done, and that's something that you're putting that into a public comment type thing, and I would have to defer to somebody higher up than me to know what that is.
No. Because they don't do it, don't mean it's not necessary. What about ADA? People who want to join the meetings how did,
We-
did,
We have had where those, they called them the appropriate time, there was a phone call.
That was during COVID.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there.
That was just during
wasn't
COVID
proper.
period.
Right.
And we've done it prior to you, Mayor, as well.
so my question is, if we're gonna spend that kind of money, I just wanna know, are there upgrades like that that we're considering? And as I said one time before with other departments, we put stuff up here that's what we want, but we have no expectation because we can't see it. We don't know exactly what we're gonna get. But that was just my comment. I just want to say that.
If I may, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Some of the things that was taken into consideration is the constant problems we've been observing throughout all of the commission meetings. And given the fact that we looked at, not only looking at the AV system and pulling it into consideration, but looking at things that will assist you in going on to be able to operate more efficiently in your meetings. We know that sometimes the presentations that's put on the screen that you all struggle to be able to see, and then Karen has to look to move to enlarge it. So being able to provide you with the monitors and turn the screen to the crowd not only helps you, but it helps the audience to be able to see what we're displaying. So we looked at it as a holistic view of the opportunity to bring the chambers into the present time as far as how we're operating, and to eliminate some of the problems that you are constantly facing in the meetings. In looking at it, we looked at not only the options that's been presented outside of the current chambers, but what we can do currently within the current chambers and the money that's associated. The lines that for the funding is in the resolution that Ms. Chantel has already identified. The money is already in the budget, and we have the opportunity now to go ahead and step it up so we can have a better product overall. And that was our full intention, to give the presentation so that you all would be able to see what we were trying to do and how we were trying to assist in moving forward.
In addition, and I've been a major push for this, is to help with bringing, the key word tonight has been transparency, a little bit more order to our meetings. So that's why I initially brought that up, so that we would be able to, as we said in January in the meeting at the county, the push option, which gives notification to the mayor, it flowed and it allowed for that conversation to be a little bit more fruitful than our current setup. So I was one that pushed. We've tried several different methods here. We tried the push lights that turned multiple colors, or mine would turn yours on, yours would turn mine on. We've tried this. We've tried a whole. We've tried a number of things, but I think at some point, in order for us to really truly facilitate a cohesive unit or facilitate proper meeting and professional meetings, of course, I think it's time for us to upgrade. We're upgrading our different facilities. We're doing what we have to do for them. We need to take in consideration what would allow us to flow a little bit better as we sit behind the dais. That would eliminate a whole lot of over talking if we had that system. And again, to not rehash what acting city manager has stated, but we have had in the last couple of months, this has probably been the only meeting, one or two, that we have not had any technical difficulties as of now. And so again, I think this is an opportunity for the consideration of moving forth in hopes of this bringing a whole lot more unity when it comes down to our meetings.
I was going to make a motion if there are no more comments.
That's fine. We are in 2026, so I think it's time to move forward.
I move to adopt resolution 2026-R-82.
Second.
Who pulled that anyway?
They right.
Oh.
We have a motion and a
Because she has
second.
worked
Is
hard.
anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing no one close public comment, all in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you. Yay. Does anybody want to take a recess?
No.
On to regular business. Rehearing on release of lien for 1315 Laurel Street. Ms. West, Mr. Agamo, Ms. Whomever.
Good evening. Thank you so much for squeezing this matter in. I know it was a bit last
Can you
minute.
give us your name,
Oh,
please,
yes,
and city of town
ma'am.
residence?
My name is Gabriel Strine here. My name is Attorney Gabriel Strine. I'm here on behalf of Principal Partners Group. And my client is actually, I believe he's on Zoom. But
Is the mic on too before we really get going here? Push the button till it'll light up. There you go.
indeed, there we go.
Technology.
Well, again, thank you so much for taking the time to squeeze this in. We greatly, greatly appreciate it. Here, my client wants to try to get this resolved. Specifically, he has need of selling the property. And with the lien that's been placed on it, it's interfering with his ability to dispose of the property. Back in the summer of 2025, my client submitted a check and payment, full payment for the lien that was imposed. And thereafter, the lien has not been released, and we want to try to get that resolved. I didn't know what y'all's take on this was and what we can do to kind of get this taken care of.
Thank you. Ms. West, can you kind of, or Mr. Agamo, give us kind of a background update on what happened here?
Seeing that Mr. Ogamo is not jumping out of his chair, I will go ahead and try and address some of the background on this. This was an exceptionally blighted piece of property that had been incurring fines for a long period of time. By the time it got to code enforcement, it had incurred about $10,000 in fines. The property unfortunately suffered a massive structural fire, and it was causing basically a public health risk. We have the ability under our ordinances for our city manager to do what is called a summary order of abatement, which basically allows them, if there's an imminent public health risk, and in this case there was documentation from neighbors that children were playing in the attic of the burnt-out structure, that we did in fact have an imminent public health risk. And so the city manager executed the summary order of abatement, and we had the entire structure demolished. The demolition costs were $4,700. Principal Partners did, in fact, reimburse the city for that out-of-pocket expense. It is my understanding that code enforcement provided the assurances that if they paid the reimbursement for the demolition, that the lien would be released. So I believe there was a misunderstanding on the part of the property owner, and then the policy that you had adopted back in 2021, which isn't exactly a 50% reduction in a code enforcement lien. There are a lot of subjective criteria. For example, if you look at number 11, we are to take into consideration other factors such as economic, physical, mental, etc., which may show a hardship on the entity requesting the lien reduction. It's my understanding that the Code Compliance Office has not been following this particular policy because of the highly subjective criteria, and instead imposing simply an administrative fee. At any rate, this came up before you at the last meeting. The motion was to cut the lien in half to $5,000 on top of the $4,700 that's already been paid, and that's the backstory of how we got here today.
Said some of the stuff that she stated. My question was gonna be, why is this back before us?
Would you like me to answer, or?
I can also answer as well.
Who made the decision to bring this back before us? Because I believe at that meeting, there was extensive conversation that took place amongst and I want to say upwards of 30 minutes during that time with clarification. This, and then, I mean, you have stated some things that would make me reconsider. However, I just didn't understand initially why this was brought back before us.
I'll answer that question. And Attorney West, not necessarily putting it on the agenda. But as I reiterated to Mr. Jones in our conversation, this is not something this is a request from the attorney for the client, the opportunity to be heard. It's not staff's request to bring it back before you to change any of the rulings that you have made. The request for the attorney has the option, because just like we stated before, there's secondary measures that can be taken after that. So we felt the need to be able to allow him the opportunity to speak before you, and you guys can continue on either with your decision that you've made prior, or it would give you the opportunity, once the background, if you requested additional background information, for you to make a different decision. We as staff are set fast with where we stand on the last ruling, and we leave it to you after you have had the opportunity to hear from the attorney.
And indeed, following up on that, there are some rather concrete legal issues that are at play here. Specifically, my client tendered payment with a check that said lien is paid in full. That check was accepted in pursuant to Florida Statute 673.3111. That constitutes accord and satisfaction. The check was accepted. It was never returned within the 90-day period that was allotted by the statute, and accordingly, it's binding upon the city. Furthermore, my client acted in reliance upon the representations that were given to it by agents of the city of Palatka. It rendered payment in full pursuant to a letter that was sent to my client with Palatka City of Palatka letterhead, and included City of Palatka information on it. If the council would like to see, I have with me copies of the applicable check stating that it says lien paid in full. I also have copies of the applicable statute, and I also have case law that states that, insofar as an agent commits to something on behalf of the principal, that action is binding upon the principal, and particularly when the principal receives a benefit, as the city has here, as payment in full. So given that, that's why we're back before the council requesting that that the original agreement be enforced. I can understand that maybe this has been discussed before. It wasn't something to which I was privy to, so please excuse me on that matter. So I cannot speak as to anything that was done before I came on board. But what I can say is that here we have some serious legal issues that we're trying to take care of on the front side of things. I'll turn it over to Ms. West. I'm sure she'd like to say something.
And we do have a copy of the check.
Yes, ma'am.
So what you got here, you have a lien of $10,175. That's the lien.
Correct.
You owe us the fees of $4,700 because we provided a service to clean that property. So what you were doing with that check is actually paying us for cleaning that property out. That's separate from the lien. You do understand that, right?
Actually,
it's page 160. Well,
It says.
here, copy right here.
Oh,
The fine is here. Yeah.
no, I see that. I see that.
Fine is there. That's two separate things. So,
yeah.
and being asked. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, maybe I can actually kind of illuminate, and maybe, may I approach? I have a copy of something that may, because this will kind of, I think this is kind of where some of the confusion may lie, sir. Madam, there's one for you. Would you like a copy as well, sir? Oh, okay.
Here's what I have.
Oh, you got the original. Oh, fantastic.
Because do you see two different handwritings on there? On that particular check?
I do.
So, When was it put on there? That's a question to be asked by us.
I'm gonna go back one more. Thanks. But here, what I would point out to you is down at the bottom. It says, if you accept to demolish an administrative fee, the total of $47.50 to make payment to the city of Palatka, please paste a copy in this form and send it in, right? To that extent, here, we're looking at some sort of official communication evidence that is suggesting that this whole thing can be wrapped up for this particular amount of money. And this check says lien paid in full, which is statutorily highly not only relevant, but it becomes binding upon the city. It's not something that we can really negotiate around. Specifically, Florida Statute 673.311 provides if a person against whom a claim is asserted demonstrates that they tendered an instrument to the claimant as full satisfaction of the claim, that the amount of the claim was unliquidated or subject to a bona fide dispute, and that the claimant obtained payment of the instrument, and the following sections apply. The claim is discharged if the person against whom the claim is asserted proves that the instrument or the accompanying written communication contained a conspicuous statement to the effect that the instrument was tendered as full satisfaction of the claim. So, yes, ma'am.
Ms. Pierre, when we accept checks, we deposit them, we have copies of checks that we receive. Same check, paid in full was on the original check in this different handwriting. Do you understand the question I'm asking? I don't know if you have this. No, would you pass it to Ms.
I think
Pierre?
what she's trying to verify.
I'm trying to
is the
verify, yeah. I agree. I just want to make sure that when we deposited the check, that lien paid in full was on the check, or if we received it.
I would need to log into the bank website
Okay.
to get a copy of the check from the website.
I'm just curious. I do understand what you're saying about the check. We don't need to debate that. I see it on the check copy that you provided where we deposited the check. My question is, to Commissioner Jones's point, it is unusual that the lien paid in full is in a different handwriting, and I was just trying to ascertain
That's a
when that
fantastic
was
question.
written.
That's a great question, and to be completely frank, I don't have personal firsthand knowledge about it, and I can't say one way or the other, and I'm not gonna go near it, but.
That's why I asked
yeah.
our
Yeah.
finance director. So to that point, that's information I would like to see if we receive the check. Obviously, it's there post-deposit. I'm just curious, but I do understand your rationale.
Thank you, ma'am, I appreciate it.
I'm not saying I agree, I understand it. I understand it.
And my question is, they had the ability to be present at the last meeting, correct?
That's correct.
Were they notified of that meeting?
I do not believe they were. We don't typically notify on releases of lien being put on the agenda.
So Mayor, if I can.
But I can't independently verify that. I don't know. It's not my department.
So
Can we ask Mr. Lorenzo to basically provide information on that question?
For what my recollection that I have is that Christie did notify them. I don't know if it was by phone or by email, that item is going to come in front of the board.
I also see on our form that it was typed in released after total balance due. And we did cash the check regardless of where this, if somebody else inserted something, it was
Yeah.
cashed.
Agreed.
It was deposited and it was over the 90-day period.
So the question is the additional $5,000 for the lien. And it looks like we have processed this information as if the lien was paid in full. That's the point. So at this point, I just want to, so we don't keep belaboring this point. Ms. West, from your perspective, your professional opinion, the choices we have, please. I know I want to put you on the spot, to accept this as processed, or the other one is to not and have the next step proceed.
Sure. So from a code compliance perspective, mission accomplished. You have a blighted property that has been demolished, and the property owner has paid the full expense for the city to demolish that property. You do need to take into consideration that code enforcement liens are, has been previously characterized by other city managers, this isn't my phrase, but monopoly money. It is not hard money in the bank. However, it is fully within your discretion. However, on this one, we do have an attorney who has threatened litigation. Granted, it would be small claims, but that's a risk.
Mayor, I'm ready to make a motion when you.
Go ahead, Commissioner Jones. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I do want to say something. At what, at what point do we, I know we don't have a city manager right now, but at what point do we hold people accountable for making these kind of errors and accepting checks that have really just not paying attention? Paid in full, lien paid in full. And if you look, if you really examine this document, it also says release of a lien, $14.95. Okay? You see that, Mayor, Commissioner? So that's not accurate. So whose responsibility is for these things to be looked at? The name I see on here is Code Compliance Officer, the attorney, and the planning director.
Well, I'd like to say something if I can.
Yes, sir.
As responsible for the code enforcement department. This was happening before I took over the responsibility of the department. However, my understanding is what the appellant here paid was to reimburse the city for the demolition.
Right.
That's the $4,750.
That's right.
We still have a lien that is pending. I don't know what kind of agreement was happening before, but in my view, this lien is still valid, and they will have to pay, based on the policy, 50% of that, which that would be $5,087.50.
Right.
And I don't know, I'm going to refer to the city attorney. I don't know how much the fact that they wrote in the check, I don't think that means that the city is accepting that the league has been paid in full.
Commissioner Campbell?
My concern is on this document that we are referencing, it states that the total balance due, total fees without lien reduction is $10,175. And then in parentheses, it has released. So my concern is, let's come to a decision with regards to where we are now. But if these practices and procedures and policies are what we're currently following, that needs to be reviewed. But that's more of a day-to-day operation. But we found ourselves in a lot of situations based on Scrivener's errors. And I'll leave it at that. City manager or no city manager?
So are they Scrivener's errors or?
That's not a Scrivener's error.
Errors.
Because if you listen to the conversation that the gentleman brought forth, he was told, or the property owner was told, if this amount, which was the $4,750, was paid, that it would release. So I don't know if, let's just get past this.
Go ahead,
Well-
Commissioner. Sorry.
Last thing,
Davis.
if you don't
Ms.
mind.
Davis. Do you want,
Let Ms. Davis talk. I
You wanna
think she's
mute?
frustrated. Go ahead.
a motion.
No, so let me talk. Yeah. So,
go ahead,
so,
Commissioner
so,
Jones.
so what
let's go.
happened is, I just want to point this out, so
Okay.
before we move forward. This may be the difference between $10,000 and $5,000. But we are accountable to where this money goes, so anybody say, oh, what if 10,000 was received? Because it says released right here. Do we not, we just let that go like you said? Let it go? Go. I think when we start talking about due diligence, we need to have this looked into a little further. But if we just could say, let 10,000 of the city dollars go, we don't know, did somebody actually, what if he come in and say he paid cash? Because it says released, and it says paid. You know, I don't know, I guess if we say we're gonna be good stewards of the city money, we need to actually do what we say we're gonna do. But I think the case was made, we had a planning director saying that he think that the money should be recuperated. Threaten to go to litigation, that's what you do, you're our attorney. Let's go to court, if that's the case. That's what I say. But we lay down so easily when somebody mentioned litigation. That's what it seems to me. Small claims court, I think that we should make you prove your case, sir. But, yeah, that's how I feel.
Would somebody make a public comment? Mr. Kitchens, come up first.
Elizabeth Kitchens, Palatka, Florida. I've been involved with codes. I was on the Codes Enforcement Board for a number of years. My question is this. Yes, he paid the $4,700 and some odd dollars, which was the lien cost. Are not the administrative fees and the cost of demolition two separate things? And people get they can get their lien reduced, but the administration fee, the city has historically required that be paid because that reimburses the city for the city employees' time. So it looks to me like that the client paid one thing but did not pay the administrative fees. He paid the cost of demolition. And as to marking on the check, I'm in agreement with Commissioner Jones at some point. What company, city, bank, Publix, who writes on the check they receive as payment, writes on the check payment received or in full? You give the person a receipt, but you don't write it on their check that you deposited into the bank. If the city staff did that, I don't think they should have probably. But we're talking about two different things. He's talking about reducing the lien, and it said it paid the lien. It did not say it paid the administrative fees. That's two different things. That's apples and oranges. Thank you.
One last thing, before you make the motion, because I want to bring it to your point, before you do it, Ms. Davis. If in fact, this check pays for the lien, you owe us for demolition, because you don't have a receipt for that.
Well,
Mr. Gumma, am I right?
But I'm just saying, look at the bottom where it says, if you accept this demolition. So technically, that check is for that because that's what it says. It says, if you accept the demolish and administrative fees, total due is $4,750. Make payment payable.
So it can't be both, Mr. Campbell?
No, listen.
No, listen,
I'm
no,
just
listen.
bringing out.
But it can't be both.
The way it's documented, it does say that everything was settled based on paying.
Submitting of that check.
Of the check.
So
by
tell
the check.
tell me,
Whether we agree with it or not, that's what it does say.
but it's not saying that, Mayor. It said demolition and administrative fee. So we're talking about a lien. It doesn't address the lien down there. Look at it.
But it also says up here, the lien is released.
Again, what it's saying, what it is two
But it's
different
done,
stories.
it's happened.
All right.
Not really.
You know, hello. This is Principal Partners, and I've been watching this, and you know, I guess I need to say something. You know, we had a Zoom meeting with Jane West and the last manager, I guess, which was his last case or whatever, and we all had an agreement, and it was on I guess it's on video, you can go back and check it, where it was stated to us that if we paid the lien, everything else would be released. We then got in writing from the city of Palatka, from Jane West, saying that exactly, and that's what we did. So we made that payment under the assumption that everything else was going to be released, because that's what we were told at the hearing that we had, the Zoom hearing that we had at the time. Now, she probably should have went to the commission back then when she agreed to that, but that was not, that was not on us. So we did what we were supposed to do.
Both sides of it. Stop. Ms. West, do you want to speak to that? I mean, I just don't.
I'm sorry, I don't recall that, but I do know that there were discussions, and this was widely accepted within the code compliance department, that if a blighted structure is demolished and the city takes on that abatement cost, it is deemed in compliance. And they are allowed to proceed without any further encumbrance on their property. That was standard operating procedure with the summary orders of abatement.
We're also, the purpose of code enforcement is not to produce income, it's to eliminate the code enforcement violations. And sometimes, I mean, if we collect some revenue as a result of that, that's great that we can reinvest into doing some of these things, into these communities, but that isn't the intent of code enforcement, to make money, personally, for the city. Cover
No.
costs, yes.
So the issues have been different with the summary orders of abatement because we are going on to people's property.
Right, and you
And
have
in
to-
this particular case, they did not want us demolishing the structure. They thought they could actually salvage this burnt-out structure through various repairs. I think we have presented photos of exactly what it looked like. It constituted significant blight. And so we took this emergency action that is permissible. It is an extreme action under our ordinances that allows the city manager to make the determination that in the face of an imminent public health threat, we are allowed to demolish the structure. Now, that cost, that demolition cost, is tacked on to the property as a lien because it's an expense that the city has incurred. And we do not eliminate hard out-of-pocket costs. That would be fiscally imprudent. But once that blight is eliminated, the mission for the code compliance department is mission accomplished. You have removed the blight. And therefore, that is the incentive for the property owner to go ahead and reimburse us for that out-of-pocket cost. They are deemed in compliance, and they can move forward with the property.
And so they paid back the demolition cost and administrative fees.
The demolition cost was $4,500. The administrative cost was $250 for a total of $4,750
yeah.
paid by the property owner.
Okay. Commissioner Davis.
I move that we accept the $4,500 demolition fee and the $250 administrative fee already paid to release the lien on 1315 Long Street.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Motion died. Well, I can't second it, so here we are. Okay. So, thank you, sir.
Can't be so, it's gonna keep blank.
The blight is not there no more, so it don't matter.
Okay, we're getting on to the discussion direction, interim city manager. Ms. Jones, do you want to come up? I know, we have, go ahead.
I'll take this lead.
Okay, take this, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
I think that conversation should be led by us.
That's fine.
I'm just going to preference
She's
you
going to
with
do
what we
some
have before
preferencing.
you,
That's,
and
I
then turn it
didn't,
over to you.
and this was as much for the community,
wanna
to
make-
give a little opening. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be able to state that we have sent you resumes for applicants for the interim city manager's position. We wanted to put this on the agenda to give you the opportunity to discuss next steps and process moving forward and direction for staff therein. So now we'll await your direction, and I'll gladly take notes so I know what to do next.
Thank you. Who wants to start? Commissioner Campbell?
Well, I'm appreciative of the constant updates that Ms. Jones has been pushing out to us as the applicants have been coming in. I do believe that this is a matter that we should really address rather sooner than later. I know that our acting city manager is doing a phenomenal job in that capacity, but initially it is his intent to be the chief of police and not the city manager of Palatka, acting or not. And so it is incumbent upon us to go ahead and come up with how we would like to proceed forth. I know that I do have one recommendation that I hope that will be considered amongst our commission, is that whoever we have serve in that capacity be already an established Floridian. Based on the state of Florida, having someone come from out of state could cause or pose a major curveball in the interim time. So I would make the request that if we do have someone, or when we do make that one of my requests is that it's already a Floridian that is familiar with where we are, and not where we are as far as the city of Palatka, but where we are in the state of Florida. And I think that would be a better charge than having someone come in from the outside.
Commissioner Davis, did you want to say something?
Yes, I agree with Commissioner Campbell, and if I'm not mistaken, we would have to ask the city clerk. I believe when I made a motion for next steps that was included, because I do agree, but whether it was or not, I 100% agree that we want an established Floridian with experience as a city manager in the state of Florida. We received, if my numbers are correct, 16 resumes of interested persons. I will say, I'm going to go ahead and cut to the chase, because I also agree with Commissioner Campbell that we need to move forward and get an interim as soon as possible. Of the 16 resumes, I have only two recommended for interviews. And I would like for us to establish a timeline tonight, if possible, to go ahead and get interviews scheduled and determine how we can get an interim city manager appropriately, but as soon as possible. Thank you.
I agree with, out of the 16, that there are a few highly qualified, and I do have two that I would make the recommendation that we move forward with interviews as well.
And you, Commissioner Jones?
Well, could we just make consensus? We each choose two people, and it may be even the same people, and we could narrow it down and bring them in
I'm good with that.
and make it happen. All right, sounds good.
Okay, I'll start.
Go Commissioner Davis first, then.
Thank you. The two, I would like to interview Andrew Hyatt and Cynthia Curry.
Surprisingly, those are actually my two.
Commissioner Jones?
Hold on, pull them up.
Okay, I'll let you pull them up. We'll live in suspense for a bit.
You go ahead with yours, Mayor.
I had Cynthia Curry as well, and James Patrick Gleason.
Cynthia Curry, I think, is a unanimous choice to come in for an interview. This is my choice, one of my choices. So, Ken Middleton.
Who'd you say, I'm sorry?
Ken Middleton.
Okay.
Ken Middleton. That's just my personal.
Mayor, could you state the one that you had as well? I'm sorry, could you
Gleason, James, my brother, John, James Patrick Gleason, I'm sorry, there were too many Johns and Jonathans. James Patrick Gleason.
Ken Middleton, James Gleason.
If I could, for Mr. Jones, you had Ken Middleton, and what was your second?
Cynthia Curry.
Cynthia Curry.
Okay, thank you.
Cynthia Williams Curry.
All right, so we've established at least the one that was unanimous. How do we do?
So we have 4 people total. Yeah, 4 total candidates. Yeah, between us all. So, with that said, do we want to interview all 4? Do we want to interview 3, 2? Make a decision here so we can move forward. We all know Cynthia Curry is one of them, so who's this? How many more do we want to interview? Because we're going to have that.
I will go ahead. Can we just give feedback on
On the candidates?
on the applicant? Huh? Well, what I don't want to do is waste time, because we're looking for someone who has city manager experience, who can hit the ground running. And so, to that point, I just want to make sure, one of the persons on the list has never been a city manager. So I was just curious as to why they potentially interviewing them.
And I guess we're talking to you, we're asking you, Commissioner Jones.
They have over 30 years of executive supervisory experience with probably an organization that's bigger than the city of Palatka. And so it's like a lot of positions, whether it's promotions or what, you may not have that experience or education, but I mean, you may not have that education, but that experience kind of like, so it's an interview and it's for interim. But I get what you say. I get your question wholeheartedly, because they haven't had experience and you want them to hit the ground running.
Yeah.
I got that. But
Well, in the motion for asking HR to get someone was to get resumes and recommendations for experienced city managers. That's what the motion was. And so I just, that does not fit what we approved and authorized. So I
But
just
we
want to
got
put
the
that out.
application.
We received 16 resumes. And so I just don't want to waste our time, and that's why I'm bringing it up. But otherwise, we can move forward. I don't want to belabor this point. We have been here long enough. I don't want to belabor the point, but I want to stick, and to your point, Commissioner Jones, let's do basically what we need to do the right way and how we need to do it. And so that's the reason I'm giving the feedback, because we need to interview and hire as soon as possible someone who can hit the ground running, and we cannot afford to hire another inexperienced city manager to fill the role, whether it's interim or permanent. And that's why I'm bringing this forth now, just as a time saver.
And I can appreciate you bringing it up. But if I have a choice, those are my 2 choices. That was you asked me, and that's what I did. So.
No, and we agree
I
with
have a
that, but we're
motion.
trying to narrow it down for the
Again,
sake of
don't-
interview
don't-
Mayor, I
process.
have a motion.
Don't bring them in.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm
Go
one
ahead with the
person.
motion.
I move that we move forward with interviewing James Gleason, Andrew Hyatt, and Cynthia Curry for the interim city manager position.
We have a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I mean,
I know you did not
Okay,
see
it's
it.
not an
argument.
Have us go through
He
all
just
of
likes
that.
to test.
you guys wanted an argument. It's not an argument.
No, we didn't.
I
But,
don't
well,
wanna
okay,
argue.
thank you, though.
That was
Moving
bright.
on.
That was
Do you
good.
need any
So,
other direction?
Ms.
Do we need to
Jones,
set dates?
if you
Ms.
could-
Jones, would you like to come up? because we now probably need to set a timeline to get this accomplished. That's what we're hearing from Chief Shaw.
To,
Go ahead.
to be perfectly, let's just be honest, if we're being honest on this dais, if we already reviewed the applications, the one person that we all have in common, why don't we just bring that person in and just say, okay, if,
A motion was on the floor, a vote was made.
no, I'm just.
No, I get what you're saying, because that's actually what I was gonna recommend, is we all have that one person, but.
I also would like to interview a couple of other folks, even though we were all in agreement as her being one of the candidates. But go ahead, Ms. Jones, go ahead.
Okay, so Cynthia Curry, Andrew Hyatt, and James Gleason. Those are the three.
Right.
Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
So, and we want in-person interviews?
What does the,
I will say this,
if possible.
we have had, and I'm putting
Go ahead.
putting this out there, we have had interviews with city managers in the past that the system, it was not.
Conducive.
It didn't work out.
Yeah. If possible, as much as possible. We want them in person, yes. And they are all in Florida. So, how far?
So I will make the calls to these individuals, find out a time that they would be available for interviews, and I will try to do it, you want it next week or?
Yes,
the week
please,
after?
by next week.
Next
Yeah.
week, and get some times that they're
Next week,
in, and I
Thursday,
will
yeah.
communicate that to you all.
Thank you. But, I'll go ahead, Chief Shaw.
Just clarifying that that will cause for us to call a special meeting for the interview.
Yes.
For you
Yes.
all to interview.
Yeah, and I'll sign that.
If we can get it done next week, because the following week, is graduation week, and I have a commitment in my position, and I understand this is equally important, but graduation for consideration, so I have to attend all graduations.
And I think we just, again, want to accomplish this as soon as possible, this interview process, and move this forward. So next week, please ask them to be here next week.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Discussion direction, okay, B, policy amendment. This is yours, Commissioner Jones, so why don't you explain?
Okay, Commissioner Jones bought this. This is about the restrooms at the city parks. Restrooms at the city parks, I was actually checking into the availability of the parks and found that the restrooms are not open during the day, during normal business hours. And I spoke with Mr. Cutright, and he said since he's been here, that hasn't been the process or their operational task to open the bathrooms for public use. So, after going back and forth a little bit, I thought that would bring up here on the dais for discussion that we need to either have an ordinance that if the park is open, the bathroom should be open. We just spent money putting new bathrooms at Hank Bryan Park, but if they're not open for public use, what were we doing? So, I don't know if everybody knew that or not. I did not know that the bathrooms are not open during the day. So from dusk to dawn, the parks are open. I also thought that the bathrooms should be open during that time. So, any feedback?
Are you doing this in parts, or is that the only thing that you?
In parts?
Because
Bathroom.
There's more that's listed on the.
On discussion direction B, there's more, first come, first served. I mean, it wasn't clear to me what we were going to be talking about. That was a little more.
So let me, okay, I'll go deeper. So the park use is a first come, first served basis.
Okay.
On going to a park. If you're going to play basketball, you could play on a basketball court if you have a ball. If you want to have a party on one of the parks, you must reserve the park, pay a deposit, and you have the rights to a specific area or the park during a specific time. So you're actually renting the park. when I say first come, first serve, if me and some friends go at Booker Park to go shoot basketball, currently, as it is right now, we can play basketball, but we can't go in the bathrooms. We can't use the bathrooms. And I think that's a problem because it's in a neighborhood, and if you're drinking Gatorade or water and you're playing basketball, eventually you're going to have to go to the bathroom. So the bathrooms need to be open. Why? I just thought that could have been a call and the bathrooms would be open. I didn't know I really had to come to the dais to make this decision, but in the absence of a policy or practice, it has to be, so we have to address that. Public park, public access. So.
Mr. Cutright or Mr. Verrecchio? So is there a policy right now?
So the bathrooms at the baseball parks, not the community parks. Hank Bryan bathroom is open from dusk to dawn. The park down at the riverfront is open dawn. Fred Green, Shawbuck, and Sweet Orange Field, used to be Foster Field, has bathrooms for the baseball facility. It's the complex right there. There now has been, since I've been here, been open regularly, unless you utilize it for a special event or program, and then we will open it up. If we knew we had recognized people coming to do the park, we would. This conversation came from utilizing the park this weekend and was asked to fill out an application to let us know what was going on. The bathrooms at those parks are not ADA compliance. So that's one of the reasons why we don't want them open up on a regular basis, because we would be failing code. Also, to bring those parks bathrooms in compliance like Hank Bryan and the park at Riverfront, Joe can get us some quotes, but it's going to cost several $1,000s to bring those bathrooms up to compliance. In this question situation right here, since it was brought up, if it had been told to me that they needed the park and wanted to use just the bathroom, we would have worked it. In the emails I had with Commissioner Jones, I was trying to accommodate that, but I still needed the application so I would know what they needed. And that's where it went to, let's put it on the agenda to talk about opening facilities on a regular basis. I am fully in compliance with doing that, but I know it's going to cost money to bring those bathrooms that we have right now into compliance, open up for the public from dusk to dawn. Now, Joe can give you better numbers on how much that's going to cost, but since I've been here, 19, those bathrooms, those restrooms was never open on a regular basis unless it was a program or a special event or some type of rental.
If I can elaborate just a little bit further on ADA. So July 26, 1990, George Bush enacted the Americans with Disabilities Act. Structures that were built prior to that time were called what's grandfathered in. If those structures are ever altered or used for a different use in which they were intended, we have to bring them up to code. Those structures are block structures in all the areas we're talking about, and the doorways aren't big enough. The inside of the bathrooms are not big enough to have a wheelchair spin around. So in certain parks, if we were to want to actually utilize them as all-day bathrooms for the public to use, we would have to bring them up to be ADA compliant, which would mean Shawbuck, Green, those bathrooms would probably have to be tore down and rebuilt. And that's the reality of it. So there's a lot of costs associated with those as well. Now let me also go to Booker Park while we're talking. We are in the process, Booker Park is a little bit different because it was built larger with the concession stand and everything. There is room. We're currently working on bringing that up to be a public bathroom, which we have to adhere to because we're putting the splash pad there. So we're going to have to incur whatever cost that it is. But to have the bathrooms open during the day in a park that's really not used on a regular basis, is it worth the cost for the city at this time? We'll certainly follow whatever direction you want. We will take care of it if that's the direction you guys put us in. But that's the cold hard facts of the American Disability Act at this time.
When was that park built?
I can't answer that, sir.
So how do you know it's not grandfathered in?
Oh, they're all grandfathered in. They were all built before 1990.
You can tell by the dimensions of the doorway, for
So-
one thing.
Absolutely. They wouldn't have passed inspection when they were originally built.
Right.
don't
So
need
the-
ADU.
So those bathrooms are there, so if I rent the building, I could use the bathroom.
Yes, because it's considered a private bathroom, sir, and it's the original intended use. It was grandfathered in. So as that use, that's what it's for. The minute you change it to a public bathroom, you're changing its usage. When you change its usage, we are forced to bring it up to compliance, sir.
Okay. So it's a public bathroom paid for by public taxpayers' dollars. And again, it's utilized. I recommend that we spend whatever, what we're gonna do that anyway. But when people ask to use the park, I just can't see us not opening the bathroom regardless. I mean, whatever the event is, if kids say we're gonna play there, the bathrooms need to be available. So Saturday, school district employees want to have a kickball game there. And I told Ms. Carter, I did tell you this, so they wanted to use it. And so I wasn't going to put an application out because it wasn't for me. They called me and I did what I was supposed to do, ask you, you're the department head. So that's how we got to this point. It's not a personal use thing. I don't wish or desire to use the park for the weekend. So to get that clear, and that's why I was not going to do an application. But I do think that that park need to be open, or all the bathrooms need to be open during the day.
And in our conversation, Commissioner Jones, I asked for an application. If you was not gonna do it, you should have had the people that wanted it to call us, because all I needed at that time, all I wanted was an application on file to make sure we knew what they needed.
Let's nip this in the bud, because I don't think this is the appropriate setting to have a personal conversation. If there is, I think the concern was with the bathrooms being open throughout the day. Mr. Joe has clearly identified or made the statement that if those bathrooms are open during the day, that it goes against its intentional using, which, as Commissioner Jones, you often say, we're breaking our own rules if we do that. So if the restrooms on those properties that cannot be open, if it needs to be brought before the commission to have the proper conversation as how we would like to move forth, I would make that recommendation. But as of now, I will not support us going against our own rules with regards to having the restrooms open during the day if it's not a private event, which allows us to go around.
So
It's
tell me,
also federal law. I mean, it's not our rules. We don't want to violate federal law, not meet ADA requirements. So we don't have a choice until we make changes to those buildings.
so for clarity, what bathrooms, what public parks are open, bathrooms are open to?
Hank Bryan Park is open, the Riverfront Park is open. Shawwalk, Fred Green, or Sweet Arms Field, and Forster, Fred Green, Shawwalk, and Booker are the 4 bathrooms that we don't have access daily use. But Booker is in the process of getting that changed when they put the splash pad in there. Fred Green, Shawwalk, and Forster has bathrooms that are not conducive for ADA compliance.
Fine with me. I still think they should be open, but I'll go against the grain.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you.
So these people want to have the park for the weekend, Saturday specifically. They cannot use the bathroom.
If they didn't come in and fill out the application, the bathroom would not be open. But if they fill out the application, the bathrooms and accommodation, all of these, the kitchen and everything, we have amenities there will be open for them to use
For a fee.
for a fee. That can be waived if a commissioner feel like they want to.
I ain't put my name on nothing. Nope. I'm going by the rules per Commissioner Campbell.
Exactly, I follow the rules, I just rented it the other day. so
Okay.
I
We're
went
gonna,
by the
are we all
rules.
set? Thank you.
Mayor, just for clarification, then are we gonna move, we're not gonna move forward with bringing back a policy? And the reason why I asked that question.
That
was
is,
my recommendation.
so do you want to make a motion to that?
I make the
effect?
recommendation that we bring back to the commission the conversation regarding the restrooms at our city parks and fields.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Second. Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Wait a minute, I didn't even get to that point. You've got to wait till I say any opposition. Any opposition?
Nay.
Okay, thank you. On to public hearings,
Ma-
request, excuse me.
That also includes the portable bathroom.
That is it. That is it.
Yeah.
On to public hearings, request to annex, amend future land use map and rezone 404 Mission Road, ordinance number 2026-20, parcel number 02-10-26-0000-0630-0011, ordinance number 2026-21, ordinance number 2026-23. Mr. Agamo.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, Commissioners. This is an item that's been continued from the last meeting due to the fact that the applicant was not present, so the commission continued the item to today. It's basically just a request to annex one parcel. It's about 0.39 acres, and the intent is to connect to city water. As part of the annexation, obviously, we have to also change the future land use and rezone the property to the city of Palatka zoning districts. The parcel is located at 404 Mission Road. The parcel has a duplex, and it's, and we have reviewed the annexation, the future land use amendment, and the rezoning. It meets all the requirements that the parcel is adjacent to the boundary of the city. It doesn't create an enclave. And it was approved or reviewed by the planning board on April 7th, and they approved those three items unanimously, and staff is recommending approval. The applicant, I believe, is here, that they might want to address.
Okay. Could you please come up in case there are any questions? On one of you? Both of you? Somebody? Thank you. Give your name and city or town of residence.
Zach Palatka.
Okay. Do you have a last name, Zach?
No, I'm just getting forward. Zach Ford.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions of the property owner or representative? Anybody? Okay. With that said, do we have a motion?
I move to approve ordinance 2026-20, 21, and 23.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. Is anybody here for public comment on this item? Seeing none, we close public comment. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Excuse me? Yea or nay?
I said yay.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I'm so sorry. Did you hear?
Now, you want me to? Yay.
Okay, thank you. On to B, ordinance 2026-28, an ordinance of the City of Palatka, Florida, establishing the provisions of a planned unit development overlay with respect to the following parcels of land: 42-10-27-6850-0120-0101, 42-10-27-6850-0110-0100, 42-10-27-6850-0120, 0020, 42-10-27-6850-0120-0011, 42-10-27-6850-0120-0010, 42-10-27-6850-0150-0060, and 42-10-27-6850-0150-0040, and 42-10-27-6850-0150-0090, located at 201, 211, 225, 229, 300, and 320 St. John's Avenue, and 301 Reed Street, Palatka, Florida, providing for scrivener's errors and providing for an effective date. Mr. Agamo.
Yeah, Madam Mayor, before I just need a clarification just for the record for the prior item. Was the motion to approve the 3 ordinances?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you. Well, basically, this is a request to rezone 8 parcels that the mayor just read into the record in order to establish a planned unit development. Basically, it's just an overlay on top of the existing zoning district that they have. And it is a requirement of the code that anything that is above 20,000 square feet of non-residential uses or any residential use that is about 5 units, it has to be a PUD. That's the reason it's in front of you. Like we said before, it involves 8 parcels, mainly located along St. John's Avenue. And the applicant is requesting the rezoning of the cited parcels to planned unit development overlay. The parcels have a commercial future land use in the comprehensive plan and downtown riverfront zoning district. As you may know, the downtown riverfront district was established for the purpose of providing a pedestrian-oriented retail entertainment area that has historically been downtown and its waterfront area. The intent of the applicant is to redevelop the parcels under a unified master plan, and it calls for a mixed-use project consisting of restaurants, entertainment bar, events, venue, hotel rooms, and possibly a residential component. The project is proposed to be built in 2 phases. The first phase will include 4 years and basically will be all the properties along the 200 block. And then there's another phase. Phase 2 will be up to 10 years, and that will be the renovation of the James Hotel and the Shelley Building. This item was reviewed by the Planning Board on May 5th and recommended approval of the rezoning as well as the development agreement. The Planning Board also granted a request that was placed by the applicant in the development agreement to grant conditional use approval for hotel units in 3 parcels that were not at that moment receive a conditional use. I'd like to address a little bit the issue that was brought up today in public comments regarding the parking. It is true, it's not required to provide parking. However, we know, and the applicant knows, there's going to be a demand for parking. And to that effect, we have put a clause in the development agreement that the applicant will work with the city to find alternatives to provide parking. We believe this is a very important project. It's going to be a milestone for the redevelopment of our downtown. And staff recommend approval of the rezoning. With that, I'm going to, Mr. Troiano, who is the agent for the applicant, to maybe go into a little bit more detail about the
Okay.
project.
So, Mr. Troiano, are you representing the group?
I am.
Come
Yes,
on
ma'am.
up.
May I? My name is James Troiano. The address is 2000 Reed Street, Palatka, Florida. Madam Mayor, Commissioner, City staff, thank you for this opportunity. This is something that's been a long time coming. Today in the audience, there are owners that are part of this development process. We had an opportunity to talk to the City Planning Commission, as Mr. Agamino talked about earlier. We talked about our project, we talked about our vision of where we're going, and we were very pleased to see a unanimous consent to move forward to you as far as approval for this program or project. Think about 3 things about what we're trying to do for downtown Palatka. This is going to be unique, real, and authentic. It's going to bring a wow moment to us here in Palatka. We're taking buildings that are blighted, buildings that have been left unoccupied, or just didn't have a level of service that we would want to see in downtown Palatka. We truly want to change what's happening in Palatka, but as I have been told countless number of times, our mission is to do no harm to a community that gave back to us. So our intent is to do the best we can to provide a beautiful wow moment from restaurants, hotels, opportunities for people to come to Palatka and spend money. It will truly be a changing moment for the city, bringing people from out of town, having people in town to come and to not only spend money with us or to stay in our hotel rooms, but to spend money with merchants that are here in town. It's a wonderful idea, thinking about all the things that we have been planning. We're currently in the planning process for Noe's, which is the McCrory's building at 211 St. John's Avenue. We're with the county for the building permit review, as well as the city for site and code review, for code and the code process itself. This is one of the hurdles that we must overcome for our permit to be issued. We did not know at the time that we applied that there would be an issue, but we have worked hand in hand with city staff, and I must compliment you on city staff for their guidance that they provided to us, how we were able to work together to come up with this development agreement and present it to you for your review. There are millions of dollars worth of investment that are coming here to downtown, tens of millions of dollars. We're excited about that. We're excited about the change that will happen. So we're prepared to move forward. We're excited for this opportunity to present this to you. And I'm here to answer any questions that you may have. I know in your packet there is an elevation of what the program will look like in the 200 block, as well as the James Hotel at 300 St. John's Avenue, the Shelley Building at 320 St. John's Avenue, and the property along Reed Street that will become part of the James Hotel. So there's a lot. We're excited. We have talked to members of our community. We've gotten tremendous support for this, and we're looking forward for an opportunity to move forward. And I stand in front of you prepared to answer any questions that you may have.
Commissioner Campbell, any questions? Commissioner Jones?
Of course.
Of course.
Question. And the question is, hey, Mr. Triano, about the parking. We had people here earlier speaking of parking and their concerns. And I just heard that from Mr. Agamo that you said that you work with us on parking and the woes. What would that look like?
So let me start out with a quote. I'm going to go back to Quint Studer. Quint Studer says, "When parking is your problem, you're doing great." So we are preparing for a parking problem. We want to bring good development to downtown Palatka. It has to be, again, authentic, real, and unique. So how are we going to help? We want to work with the city. You know, there are plenty of opportunities to look at potentially using our impact fees or the impact fees that would be collected to help offset for parking. There's also an opportunity for a public-private partnership for a parking facility. We want to work with the city hand in hand on these issues. We want to see good parking. We want to see good processes put in place. We want to have people that come to Palatka to remember why they were here. They had a great time, and we want them to return. And we want them to continue to look at this town and this county as being a place that they want to return and bring their families to. So, Madam Mayor, if I may, to answer that question, as it states in the development agreement, we're fully prepared and want to talk about parking. We have talked to members of this commission prior to, and we were told there wasn't really a parking issue downtown. We know that we have to work with the city to help with those issues, and it wasn't the members of this panel. But we have issues that we would like to work with you. And I think we have some great ideas. There's some examples in St. Augustine. There's examples in other communities where a public-private partnership was very successful. So, Madam Mayor, I hope I've answered the commissioner's question.
No, you really didn't.
Okay.
Because I wanted examples. I mean, what would you actually do? And I mean, I hear you, but I want to, if you could, I mean, I know Mr. Sloan, I know he has some ideas, and his ideas could blow your mind a lot of times when he tell you about it. But at least when he talk, I can kind of see it. I get excited about it. So I thought that you may be able to tell me a concept that you may have already had to take care of the parking woes, or at least
Madam Mayor, if I may,
share
there
with
are
us.
plenty of opportunities for us to look at, but it's a big task. So there's a lot of parking already in and around downtown that could be used. Let's just say that we have a shuttle service that can be used to help move, whether it be public or private, to move people from parking space A to our venue and back to that. So there's an entrepreneurial opportunity for others to help with the growth that we're going to be seeing here in Palatka. There's an opportunity through a public-private partnership for a parking facility or parking concepts in and around Palatka. If you look at how successful it has been in other communities, we should look at those. I can't tell you any one specific thing that we have because we need to work with the city, we need to work with the county, and work with our community to collectively come up with the best options possible. We have parking that's near the river. We have parking in and around here. You think about at night, these parking lots are vacant. Having a shuttle facility until something can be built, those are options, Madam Mayor, that we could look at to help offset the parking that we have in this community. I can't specifically say one will be the best, and I think that's truly going to be left up to us as a collective to decide what's best for Palatka.
And I think at this point in time, we're ready to have, and I think it was done in the past, but certainly needs updating, to do a study of all the parking that we have available and be able to publicize that. And if it is a private parcel, that we work with that owner or owners to come to some agreement about using it publicly when they are not using it. So, for example, we also have a lot of churches downtown, and on Sunday and Wednesday evening, yes, they use some of the occasions as well. But basically, most of the time, they're vacant. So I think there's a lot more parking than people realize, and the fact of the matter is, too, if you build a parking garage, you're still going to have to walk from that parking garage to your destination, which could be the end of the street, could be in the 900 block. We're going to have to walk unless you have mobility issues, and we have to address that, to me, in more ways than we do now, provide for people to have mobility issues. But otherwise, the rest of us are going to get our exercise, and I think that's a healthy thing.
And so if I may, just to add to that, if I may, talking about the possibilities of not only governmental-owned opportunities for people to chauffeur people back and forth, but again, from a private perspective too. And you're right, these parking lots all sit vacant. Having that opportunity to use them in collaboration with the property owners, whether it be the school board next door, whether it be a church up the street, whether it be the Ameris parking, whether it be at the courthouse. I think we have viable options to consider to help. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, I agree. And also, thank you, pedicabs. Pedicabs there's somebody in St. Augustine who has a pedicab business who's interested in coming here, if it were an opportunity. Go ahead. Commissioner Davis.
As always, I want to offer a different perspective. I've lived in a city that was, granted, not as small as Palatka, but it was relatively small, and I lived through the revitalization of our downtown area. And I will tell you, sitting in the City of Suwanee commission meetings, we could have the same conversation. Those who had been in Suwanee for years always talked about not enough parking, not enough parking. And over time, the city did revitalize, the downtown area did revitalize. What I will tell you is this. There are plenty of examples of places with parking decks and nowhere to go. As a matter of fact, many cities are reimagining their parking decks that are unused because of a failed plan to develop the area. And so we have these parking decks that are vacant, pretty much. But I will say this, a parking deck with no place to go doesn't matter. I can also tell you that if there are places to go, and I'm going to use Gainesville, University of Florida, any area, especially with universities or other areas, there are things to do downtown, and I see no lack, I don't see people not going because they don't have a parking space in front of the building. So I do believe that as we're revitalizing our downtown area, we have all these plans. We have partners and businesses who are coming in to revitalize according to our plan. And I believe we have to just look at things a little bit differently. And there are tons of examples, and no, not a big city. You know, I know Palatka's not trying to be a big city, but at the end of the day, regardless as to your size, when you're revitalizing a downtown and talking about parking, you have to consider some different concepts. There are lots of places. I actually live a couple of blocks from downtown, and there are lots of places to park. Is the parking space in front of a store that I want to walk directly into the door? Not necessarily. Do I still go there? Yes. So I do want to consider the bigger picture, okay? A parking deck with no place to go is not worth anything. We got to have some place for people to go before we can talk about a lack of parking. And I do agree that we do need to do a parking study because we do have viable places that could park, for people to park to come there. No place is occupied 24/7. So you got to look at a study. Granted, things ebb and flow, right? When we have festivals or we have fireworks, I mean, people still come and they walk blocks. And I will agree with you, Mayor. We do need to walk a little bit more in Palatka. So thank you. Just want to say, open your mind and think about what we're trying to accomplish. And those kinds of things can be addressed in many ways. There are several options, so thank you.
Anybody else?
I'm ready to make a motion.
Go ahead.
I make a motion.
I'll open the floor to public comment. No. Yeah, that's me. Give us your name, please, again, and city town residents.
Marcia B. Craft, and I'm on 111 North 4th Street here in Palatka. I am not anti-hotel. I'm anti-gridlock.
You need to talk to us, Miss.
You talk about these extra parking spaces that are available tonight. Businesses do business during the day. These gentlemen are also going to be needing parking spaces in the day. They seem to be coming to you with open arms to help you with the parking problem. The problem seems to be the transparency of the council. I don't know what your drawback is with growth for everyone. Why can we not? It seems like we're taking away more parking than we are allotting. The St. James is allocating, taking the front part to Reed Street and incorporated it in, so that does away with their parking. The revitalization of the downtown beautification has taken away parking. I don't care what you say, if you look the way it's drawn, you're missing at least a half a spot at each corner. That's 2 additional spots. Reed Street is closing all of their parking. I have a parking problem. I have a parking problem from the courthouse, parking in front of my store. I have a parking problem from everyone on St. John Street that has businesses parking in front of my store so they can keep their spots available. You have a parking, stop sticking your head in the sand. You have a parking problem. Address it.
Are you coming up for Mr. Okay, thank you. Come up, Mr. Deputy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sam Deputy, 623 St. John's Avenue. I too, I desire a parking problem. I would like to see us work on the balance of this. When Mr. Sloan hosted the downtown merchants, and I'm so grateful for that meeting that we had where we saw the entire presentation. Over 70 of us attended that meeting who were downtown merchants. Wonderful presentation, and we were impressed. I'm delighted at the millions that I see that will be coming in before, hopefully, I exit this world, and to see downtown rework. But is there a way that we can work on the parking issues at the same time? We have lots of options. You just took down on my block the 2-hour parking limit ordinance sign that we have on the books. 2 hours, and if you will remember at my age, the meter maid came and marked your tires and you got a ticket. if you were there more than 2 hours. We have lots of options, but it's up to you to make sure that those options take place. And so we need to start on this now, because when this project is done, I want to welcome all of these fantastic people to Palatka, Florida, to Elsie Bell's, to Deputy's Attic, to all of the businesses downtown, because this is going to be an exciting time for us to see come into Palatka. But let's begin this parking question now versus when it does become an issue before us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here for public comment? Ms. Kitchens?
Allegra Kitchens, Palatka, Florida. I too am concerned about public parking. Guess what, folks? When I go shopping, I take my car because I want to put whatever I buy in my car. I don't want to carry it 4 blocks. I don't want to carry a chest of drawers. I don't want to carry a 15-pound sack of produce. So we do need parking downtown. It's not necessarily more parking, but we need to quit getting rid of the parking we have. I saw the landscape thing a couple of months ago, when they were going to re-landscape downtown St. John's Avenue. They were going to put grid marks at the intersection so that merchandise trucks could park and give deliveries to the owners of the stores. Now, apparently, there's going to be bump outs at the intersection. Already, you can't see at the intersections hardly because of the tree growth covering up the stop signs. Now they're going to have bump outs on all 4 corners of the intersection. That's going to take more parking away. Get rid of the bump outs, give us back the 4 parking spaces at each intersection, and bring back the policeman and it was Mr. Perry, I believe was his name. He'd go around with a little cart and a chalk thing, and he'd mark the tires. And bring back the 2-hour parking, start giving tickets. That'll help Elsie Bell's problem. People get a few tickets, the city gets some money, the parking problem is solved on that part. But please take into consideration to not destroy any more parking spaces. Your current landscape plan that you're moving forward with, the bump outs, will destroy more parking. We don't need to lose parking spaces, we need to have more. And at this point, when you open your car door in a parking space, you have to be careful because the street is so crowded that you open your car into traffic, your car door. And I do know that the underlying theme in Palatka for years has been, we want to make St. John's Avenue pedestrian friendly. They want to get rid of motor vehicle traffic, and y'all have almost achieved it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here for public comment? Seeing none, we'll close public comment. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we accept the ordinance 2026-28.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposition? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any commissioner comments? Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Jones, Commissioner Campbell.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn? Okay, thank you.